Chapter 61:23. Seeing Lin Xian's sword, Wan Yuing was dumbfounded. In his opinion, he should be able to restrain his opponent by using the 10,000 shadows technique. But now, it seemed that this was not the case at all. This sword strike caused his hair to stand on end. What kind of sword technique was this? How could it be performed by a quasi-emperor? Even a martial monarch might not be able to execute such a powerful battle tactic. Could this be his opponent's true strength? Thinking of this, Wan Yuing was terrified. I haven't lost yet. I can't be afraid. He roared, phantom technique. There were thousands of shadows. His opponent might not know which one was the real one. Thinking of this, his real body hid in a corner while the other clones attacked quickly. Boom. Lin Xian's sword chi fell, making a rumbling sound. The sword split heaven and earth, and the endless starry sky was destroyed. Not only that, but a large number of clones were shattered, and a spatial crack appeared in front of him. The 10,000 shadows technique was broken. The spectators were shocked. Damn it, what a terrifying sword technique. In the corner, Wan Yuing also spat out a mouthful of blood. He was hit. Although it was not fatal, his face was extremely ugly. The 10,000 shadows technique was his ultimate technique. Now that it was broken, how could he fight next? He was afraid that he was in trouble. Is this all you've got? After Lin Xian's sword, he glanced at Wan Yuing in the corner and sneered. With this little strength, you still want to chase after me? Are you tired of living? Take out your true ultimate technique. Otherwise, I'll send you to hell with this sword. As Lin Xian spoke, the sword chi in his hand appeared again. This sword had an indestructible power. It seemed to have turned into an azure dragon that danced between heaven and earth. Then, a dragon roar sounded and slashed forward. Boom. The sword chi was weak, and cracks had already appeared on Wan Yuing's body. One could imagine how terrifying this sword was. Damn it! Wan Yuing also roared. Shadow control technique. His palms kept forming seals, and the shadows on his body burst out. At the same time, Lin Xian's shadow seemed to shake. Great, kill them for me. Lin Xian's shadow stood up and rushed towards Lin Xian's arm. This was the shadow control technique, which allowed one to control the shadows of others. This sudden change, if it were any powerhouse, would be frightened and flustered. However, Lin Xian did not care at all. One of his hands pushed backward to block the shadow's attack, while the other hand swung down mercilessly with sword chi. Boom! Sword chi danced in the air, and killing intent filled the sky. After a single sword strike, a blood-curdling scream rang out as Wan Yuing was cleaved in half. He had actually dodged it. When Zhong Lingxiu saw this scene, she was incomparably shocked. She had personally experienced the terror of the 10,000 mewing. But who would have thought that the other party would lose so miserably? Wan Yuing was indeed miserable. This sword slashed open his body and his soul. The fact that he didn't die immediately was enough to show how powerful his talent was. Even so, he was still trembling incomparably. He discovered that his body, which had been split open, was unable to heal. Was this the power of the great dragon sword? Damn it, just you wait. Wan Yuing did not dare to fight anymore and flew into the distance. In this exchange, he was not a match. However, the Supreme Palace would not let this matter rest. They still had Gui Qinya, who was the true Dao verifier that the Supreme Palace had pushed out. Go back and ask Gui Qinya to kill the other party. You can't escape. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Since the other party dared to chase after Zhong Lingxiu, he had no intention of letting him go back alive. If I want to leave, no one can stop me. Wan Yuing fled. He turned into billions of shadows and flew in all directions. As long as one of them escaped, he would be able to live. Let's see how you can stop me. It's a small trick. It's easy to destroy you. Lin Xian stomped his foot, and invisible sword chi spread out in all directions with him as the center. Cosmos sword formation. Heaven and earth were all swords. There was not much else in the universe, but starlight was the most abundant. These starlight turned into starlight, swords one after another, slashing in all directions. Billions of shadows were all destroyed. How could Wan Muing's final despairing voice rang out? Then his figure disappeared in the air. He was dead. Another Dao verifier had fallen, easily killed by Lin Xian. So powerful. Zhong Lingxiu was also very surprised. She looked at Lin Xian and said, "How strong are you now?" Lin Xian said, "I haven't tried. I don't know the limit. However, I will definitely succeed in this Dao verifier. I have this confidence." Lin Xian's lips curled up into a smile. Next, he said, "Qing Cheng, take them back and recover from your injuries. I will continue on my journey." He was not going to wait any longer. He wanted to take the initiative. News of this battle spread. Countless people were in an uproar. Another Dao verifier had fallen. It was too shocking. The Supreme Palace originally had 3 Dao verifiers. Now that Anya had been defeated by Zhong Lingxiu, he no longer had a chance. Wan Muing was also killed. Only Gui Qinya was left. Some people said that the Supreme Palace was probably done for. Not necessarily. Gui Qinya was very terrifying. He alone could catch up with countless Dao verifiers. However, how could he compare to Lin Xian? How could he compare to Dao Chen? All kinds of discussions were heard. On the other side, a man in white smiled. His name was Guhan. He was also one of the Dao verifiers. At this moment, when he heard the news of Wan Muing's death, he said, "Go, let our people take action. Just say that the Supreme Palace will definitely lose. Gui Qinya is no match for them at all." He also praised Lin Wudi. The people on the other side frowned when they heard this. Wasn't this boosting their morale? Gu Han sneered, "What do you know?" Gui Qinya was the disciple of the Grim Reaper. He had many trump cards in his hands. If he fought with Dao Chen in advance, the outcome would be hard to say. Even if Dao Chen won, he would probably be injured and consume a lot of energy. At that time, if Lin Wudi attacked, Dao Chen would probably be in trouble. So they had to let Lin Wudi fight Gui Qinya first. No matter who won or lost, it would not affect Dao Chen at all. "Do we need to tell young Master Dao Chen?" Someone asked. Gu Han snorted. "No, he will prove his Dao, and I will do mine." At that time, if Gui Qinya and Lin Xian are both injured, he won't bother to do it. "I will take this peach. Go. Do it beautifully. Don't disappoint me." Yes. His subordinates quickly took action. Then Gu Han waved his hand again. Another man walked over. "Let the martial demon and Xing take action and defeat the other Dao verifiers. Don't let any Tom, Dick, or Harry come." "Understood." The middle-aged man opposite him nodded. He knew that they were going to clear the place. The final battle would probably come soon. After the other party left, Gu Han narrowed his eyes. Although the other side wanted Dao Chen to be the first to prove his Dao in the starry sky. But that didn't mean that he didn't have a chance to make a contribution. If he could cut off Lin Wudi's head, that would be a great contribution. Maybe he would even have a chance to obtain the immortal art. At that time, he would go to the abyss to prove his Dao and become a great emperor. Then he would cultivate the immortal art. Let's see who is my opponent. Chapter 61-24. 2 pieces of news spread through the starry sky. The first piece of news was that the Supreme Temple had no one left. They would lose without a doubt. They would probably be wiped out. The other piece of news was that Lin Wudi was too strong. He suppressed the Supreme Temple so much that they couldn't raise their heads. They might even live in the shadows for the rest of their lives. These 2 pieces of news were actually targeted at the Supreme Temple. This news spread throughout the myriad worlds, and countless people were discussing it. This news viciously belittled the Supreme Hall, and even Gui Qinya, to the point of being completely useless. One had to know that he was an existence that could kill a great emperor. However, he was extremely despised. Instead, Lin Xian was praised like a flower. Could it be that Lin Wuti was so powerful? Lin Wuti was above Gui Qinya? That was unlikely. Were the two of them going to fight? Countless people were excited. On the other side, Dao Chen also received the news. After Dao Chen heard this, he sneered. Gu Han's boring tricks. No wonder he's not strong enough. He's actually scheming. The old man behind him was a great emperor, but he stood beside Dao Chen like a servant. He was speechless after hearing it. Gu Han was weak. He wasn't weak. The other party had a great chance of proving his Dao. It wouldn't be a problem for him to become a great emperor in the future. Moreover, the other party liked to scheme and would never let himself fall into danger. The great emperor was worried. He said, "Will Gu Han pick the peach?" "Don't worry, it's fine." "Impossible." Dao Chen shook his head slightly. No matter how crafty he is, he's nothing in the face of absolute power. Don't worry about him. Since he's done it, let's wait and see. When the time comes, you can go and watch the battle between Lin Wuti and Gui Qinya. The winner will be my final opponent. Dao Chen closed his eyes again. Since this Dao affirmation, he had only made a move twice. The first time, he killed a great emperor. The other time, he defeated Yi Wudao. Next, he would defeat the strongest enemy and succeed in proving his Dao. He didn't want to waste too much time. The great emperor nodded. Okay. In his opinion, his young master's righteous path was absolutely foolproof. Whether it was Lin Wuti or Gui Qinya, they were no match for him. Gui Qinya was furious when he heard the news. The ravens said, "They're going too far." Was this news released by the Divine Union? If they want to die, I'll go and destroy them. Since they want to fight, then let's fight. I also want to see what this Lin Wuti is capable of. Gui Qinya was a man wearing black armor. His face was pale, as if he had not seen the sun for many years. A piercingly cold light burst out from his eyes. 3 days later, I will fight him in the Red Lotus Star Ocean. The Dark Crow sent out the news. All the worlds in the universe were shocked. Countless people headed to the Red Lotus Star Ocean. The Red Lotus Star Ocean was one of the star regions in the starry sky of the universe. The sea here was red and was made up of countless stars. If one were to look at it from far away, it would look like a blooming red lotus. During these 3 days, countless experts activated their teleportation arrays. They would definitely not miss out on this battle. Was the battle about to begin? After the hidden Emperor stars, people learned of this. They were also extremely excited. Let's go and take a look. The great Emperor clans and the remote antiquity clans also took action. The people of the Divine Union also headed over. Even Yi Wudao, Zhong Lingxiu, and the others went. Gu Santong, who had been cultivating in seclusion, also came out and followed the Gu clan leader. There was no other way. This battle was too important. Lin Xian's 2 strongest enemies were Dao Chen and Gui Qinya. If they won this battle, then the final battle would begin. Let's go too. The Kunping clans, Kunping Zi stood up. The surrounding elders said, "Your Highness, your injuries won't last." The Kunping Zi said, "I won't die. I can't miss this battle." I think the Qilin Zi must be thinking the same. The two of them had also participated in the Battle of Dao Verification. However, a few days ago, they had met an expert from the Permitha called the Martial Demon. He was extremely powerful and had easily defeated the two of them. Fortunately, they had followed their guardians when they had gone to the Battle of Dao Verification, so they had been able to return alive. Otherwise, the 2 emperors would have died long ago. 3 days passed very quickly. The Red Lotus Star Ocean was already crowded with people. However, the universe was extremely vast, so it didn't seem crowded at all. This time, in addition to the people from the various worlds, those from the deity land had also come. Some people from the Hadal Serenity had also come. Of course, not many people from the Hadal Serenity had come. It couldn't be helped. The Hadal Serenity was now a battlefield. Everyone's eyes were bloodshot. Those who could come here were those who felt that there was no hope of competing for the treasures. Instead of being killed in the Hadal Serenity, they might as well come and watch the show. Gui Qinya had arrived early. He stood in the red Lotus Star Ocean, exuding an extremely terrifying, murderous intent. Everyone was terrified. Even the great emperors were shocked. This young man was too incredible. The people from the Supreme Hall had also come. The Nether Venerable and the others stood there. Buzz. At this moment, they looked up at the sky. Were the people from the Permitha here? They saw an old man in the void, riding an auspicious cloud. The immortal chi on his body flickered incomparably. Greetings, fellow Taoists, the old man said with a smile. It turned out to be Great Emperor Bailey. The people from the Supreme Hall also greeted him. The Nether Venerable said coldly, "Those rumors were spread by the Permitha, right? What are you planning to kill with a borrowed knife?" Dao Chen also had times when he was afraid. Great Emperor Bailey laughed. This matter had nothing to do with young Master Dao Chen. You should worry about Gui Qinya first. Lin Wudi was not simple. He was the successor of the Great Dragon. So what? The people from the Supreme Hall snorted coldly. Qinya is the disciple of the Spectre God. His trump cards are not weaker than his. Besides, the Great Dragon sword had already been broken back then. It was just a sword soul, and it was not at its peak. Obviously, the Supreme Hall was very confident. Great Emperor Bailey did not say anything. He stood there with his hands behind his back, silently watching the battle. More and more people came around. The people from the Hidden Emperor planet had also come. The people from the Divine Union had also come. However, they did not see Lin Xian's figure. Countless people were discussing. The crow sneered. "Where is Lin Wudi? The time has come. Does he not dare to come? Such trash dares to prove his Tao." The powerhouses from the Supreme Hall sneered. Everyone was in an uproar. The people from the Divine Union frowned. Yi Wudao said, "Don't worry. Don't you know Brother Lin's strength? How could he be afraid?" Indeed, those who were familiar with Lin Xian knew that Lin Xian was not afraid at all. His Tao was to press forward courageously. Humph! At this moment, a cold snort resounded between heaven and earth. Then, a figure that looked like a sun god walked over from afar. In a few steps, he arrived in front of the crowd. Lin Xian looked at the crow and snorted again. His voice was like thunder. The crow looked as if he had been struck by lightning. His expression changed drastically. At the same time, he was terrified. The people who had mocked him were directly torn into a bloody mist by this power. Chapter 61:25. Lin Wudi, how dare you sneak attack me? Dark Crow roared crazily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Were you challenging me just now? Why don't we have a fight first? I don't mind killing you in one move. Lin Xian's voice was extremely cold, which surprised countless people. He was too arrogant. He attacked Dark Crow as soon as he came up. However, the top powerhouses were astonished. The Emperor Lord, in particular, was frowning. Dark Crow was also a top powerhouse, and he was very strong among the Tao confirmations. But now he couldn't even stop Lin Xian's voice. How strong was this Lin Wudi? Gui Qinya also frowned. Dark Crow, stand down. Let me fight today. Dark Crow snorted and retreated. To be honest, even if Gui Qinya didn't say anything, he didn't plan to fight. He couldn't help it. The voice just now really scared him. This Lin Wudi was really a little scary. Gui Qinya had met his match. However, he still believed in Gui Qinya. You're Lin Wudi? You're really strong. Gui Qinya's eyes fell on Lin Xian. There seemed to be black flames dancing in his eyes. It was breathtaking. You're not good. Let's fight. Don't waste my time. Lin Xian said coldly. Countless people were in an uproar. Not good? This guy looked down on Gui Qinya? The Supremes of the Supremes of the Supreme Hall also furrowed their brows. The nether venerable snorted. He's as arrogant as ever. Another supreme said, just wait. He'll kneel on the ground and beg for mercy later. Chinya, don't hold back. Kill him and let him know the power of the supreme palace. Gui Chinya snorted. Let me see what right you have to call yourself invincible. After saying that, he threw out a punch. His palm was abnormally white, like white jade. However, there were black flames dancing on it. These were ghost flames, formed by the corpses of countless powerhouses after they died. They had a cold aura. A light touch could take away a person's life. Lin Xian struck out with 9 Yang Divine Palm. The incomparably vast palm contained the power of the purest Yang. It was as if the sun and the moon were clashing with one another. The entire sky cracked open in an instant. How terrifying! Retreat! The red lotus starry sea surged with thousands of waves, while the others retreated in horror. Was this the highest level battle of Tao corroboration? It was too unbelievable. Lin Wudi was extremely powerful, and Gui Chinya had once killed a great emperor. When the two of them exchanged blows, it would definitely be a fierce battle between dragons and tigers. Kunpingzi, Qilinzi, and the others turned pale. They were unable to dodge such an attack. Even Zhong Lingxiu heaved a sigh. The gap between them was really huge. Off to the side, Leaf Doudenier shook his head. He couldn't tell. The strength of these two people was about the same. Only the top experts would be able to see it clearly. As for those people, they couldn't see it clearly at all. They could only see two figures colliding with each other like lightning. Each time, it tore open the sea of stars and created an endless black hole. Kill! Gui Chinya roared angrily. He formed a strange seal with his palms and descended from the sky. Thousands of ghosts roared, making people's souls tremble. On the other side, Lin Xian threw out the 9 suns divine fist. 9 suns surrounded his fist, illuminating the entire red lotus starry sea. After one blow, the two figures quickly retreated. They stood on the sea of stars and confronted each other. Terrifying cracks appeared all around them. So exciting. So dazzling. Countless people exclaimed. It was really sad to be born in the same era as such a genius, because the light of the other geniuses had been taken away. Lin Xian, you're just SOSO. You're not invincible among your peers. Gui Chinya's cold voice sounded. Today I'm going to kill you with my own hands. The reputation you made before is just a wedding dress for me. Everything that you have is mine. Lin Xian laughed. You? What a big talk. Just now was just a warm-up. Next, I'll show my true strength. I hope you can still laugh. Lin Xian waved his sleeve, and the Qinquan sword technique flew out. The sea of stars around him shook rapidly. Countless starry ocean swords flew out and slashed toward Gui Chinya. These attacks were so sudden that Gui Chinya didn't have time to react. However, he was a top expert after all. He had killed a great emperor as a quasi-emperor. At the critical moment, he roared, 1,000 ghost armor. Boom. Endless bad luck appeared on his body, forming an armor that was incomparably black. The ghost heads on it roared and blocked the starlight in the sky. Not only that, these ghost heads even swallowed the sword chi. Lin Xian, it's useless. No matter how strong your sword technique is. So what? I'm not afraid of you at all. Gui Chinya's body swayed, turned into a cloud of black smoke, and flew over. At the same time, 2 ghost heads appeared in his hands and bit at Lin Xian. Many people gasped. Previously, these ghost heads had bitten off a great emperor's bone. One could imagine how terrifying it was. Smack. Lin Xian took a step forward, his aura devouring mountains and rivers, and slapped out with his palm. He slapped on one of the ghost heads. The ghost head was directly smacked out of shape. At the same time, his right Rinnegan released the fire of reincarnation and hit the other ghost head. That ghost head screamed and emitted black smoke. In the blink of an eye, this terrifying technique was broken. Lin Xian was so powerful, everyone was shocked. The people in the deity ground also gasped. Who would be able to suppress him? Those from the Supreme Hall looked gloomy. However, they weren't worried. Gui Qianya's strength was not limited to this. Sure enough, after the two ghost heads were broken, Gui Qianya didn't have much of a reaction. He formed a seal with one hand, and 5 silver rays of light appeared beside him and flew forward in an instant. The soul-seizing needles. The 5 silver needles arrived in front of Lin Xian and pierced into Lin Xian's glabella and limbs. In the next moment, Lin Xian froze in midair, as if he had been frozen in place. Boom! Gui Qianya slapped Lin Xian with his palm and sent Lin Xian flying. The sea of stars rolled, and Lin Xian fell into the sea. What's going on? Why did Lin Xian stop? Oh no! A small mistake in a battle between masters could lead to defeat. Countless people cried out in alarm. The people from the Hidden Emperor planet were also shocked. Morong Qingcheng and the others frowned. Could it be related to those silver needles? Xueqi had become a great emperor. Her soul was stronger than Qingcheng and Yan Ruyu's. So she said, "Yes, those 5 silver needles seem to have frozen my husband's soul." The situation was not good. Many people were worried. On the other side, Anya sneered when he saw this. The soul-seizing needles had appeared. Lin Xian, just wait for your death. After Gui Qianya succeeded, he didn't hesitate at all and continued to attack. He tore apart the sea of stars in the sky. His terrifying palm fell mercilessly. Thousands of ghosts roared. Countless ghosts rushed into the sea of stars, trying to devour Lin Xian. However, at this moment, Gui Qianya's pupils shrank. He quickly dodged. However, it was too late. The void behind him cracked, and a big golden foot appeared. Then he stepped on his back fiercely. Chapter 61:26. With a crack, the sound of bones breaking could be heard. Everyone gasped. This sound was clearly transmitted to their ears. One could imagine how heavy this kick was. Gui Qianya's body seemed to have been struck by lightning. He coughed up blood and fell to the ground. However, he quickly tapped his foot on the ground and quickly retreated, putting some distance between him and Lin Xian. Then 5 ghost heads appeared on his body and began to devour the power of the sea of stars. They healed the crack on his back. The broken bones quickly healed. His face turned pale, as if he had become even paler. You can break the soul-seizing needle in such a short time. This is really beyond my expectations. Indeed, he had been careless. In his opinion, after being hit by his soul-seizing needle, the other party couldn't move at all. But who would have thought that the other party would dodge in an instant and injure him instead? Lin Xian snorted coldly. You underestimate the 9-yang divine body. It's not so easy to break the 9-yang divine body. His soul was indeed restricted just now, but it was broken in an instant. The 9-yang divine body directly shattered the soul-seizing needle. I see. I underestimated you. Gui Qianya's expression became serious. It seemed that he had to show some of his true abilities. After that, he waved his hand. Come out, 1,000-soul tower. The void cracked, and the sea of stars tumbled. A large crack appeared. In the crack, a pitch-black pagoda crossed the realm. The yin qi on it was extremely terrifying, making everyone's hair stand on end. What is this? Countless people exclaimed. The crow was shocked. This is the 1,000-soul tower. Has it reached this point? It seemed that Gui Qianya didn't intend to hold back. This Lin Wudi was really terrifying. To be honest, the other party could dodge the soul-seizing needle, which was also beyond his expectations. However, in his opinion, once the 1,000-soul tower appeared, it should be over. After the black pagoda came out, it floated in front of Gui Qianya. Countless angry roars could be heard from above. Gui Qinya said, "Open!" With a wave of his hand, he opened the 1,000-soul tower. Then the ghosts rushed out. These souls were the souls of the strong. After death, they continued to cultivate. At this moment, he had become incomparably powerful. As soon as they appeared, they swept through the surroundings. The entire sky instantly darkened. Gui Qinya said, "Lin Xian, I know you have Rinnegan. So, I want to see how far you have cultivated your Rinnegan. How far have you reached? Is it possible to reincarnate my 1,000 fighting souls?" With that, he waved his hand, and the thousands of fighting souls in the 1,000 Souls Pagoda flew out. Each and every one of them looked down on the world and possessed unparalleled power. Once over 1,000 fighting souls appeared, it was an extremely terrifying force. Just that voice alone was enough to make one's soul tremble and feel like it was about to split open. The spectating martial monarchs worked together to form a defensive barrier that enveloped the others, isolating them from the force. Otherwise, this sound alone would be enough to kill the spectators. Lin Xian stood in the middle of the Red Lotus Star Sea and bore the brunt of it. His face darkened. 6 paths of reincarnation. With a low shout, the Rinnegan bloomed with brilliance, and the phantoms of 6 worlds surrounded him. He was like the god of 6 paths. At the same time, he stepped in the air and said loudly, "Since you are already dead, you should not exist in this world. Go to reincarnation." Buzz. As soon as his voice fell, the 6 paths world rapidly expanded and enveloped the world. Then, the 2 forces collided. The fighting souls attacked wildly, trying to tear the 6 paths world apart. The 6 paths world kept crushing the fighting souls, trying to reincarnate them. Both of them had peerless divine abilities. Who was the stronger one? The intense battle caused Lin Xian's forehead to drip with sweat. Gui Qianya's face became paler. He clenched his fists tightly. To be honest, such a battle consumed a lot of energy because the 1,000 Souls Pagoda was an ultimate technique. Lin Xian's Rinnegan was the same. Although the power of reincarnation was terrifying, he could not consume too much energy. However, these 1,000 fighting souls had been tempered for thousands of years. They were even more ancient. Therefore, he could not hold back anymore. He snorted and summoned the phantom of the reincarnation sword. The 6 paths world released a terrifying power. Then, heaven and earth were split open. The phantom of the reincarnation sword slashed down. In an instant, it enveloped the 1,000 fighting souls. As soon as it landed, the fighting souls in front of it screamed. Their bodies were torn apart by the sword chi. They screamed in agony. The phantom of the reincarnation sword appeared. Countless people exclaimed. The great emperors were envious. The reincarnation sword was one of the 5 swords of the world. Although it was only an illusion, the power it possessed was still capable of shaking heaven and earth. Gui Qinya would not be able to block it. Zhong Lingxiu said, "That's great. Lin Xian, you can do it." Gu Santong also cheered him on. Great Emperor Bailey narrowed his eyes when he saw this. The reincarnation sword? This kid is really lucky. He even has the power of the reincarnation sword. But so what? Neither the great dragon sword nor the reincarnation sword were complete. Dao Chun was the son of the sword immortal. He cultivated an extremely terrifying and peerless sword technique. He was definitely not weaker than the opponent. In fact, he was even stronger. Thinking of this, Great Emperor Bailey was relieved. Soon, he snorted coldly. Moreover, this time, Lin Wudi would not be able to leave. No matter if he won or lost, he would definitely die. Slash. The phantom of the reincarnation sword kept falling. The seed of divine flame on Lin Xian's body spun rapidly. The 1,000 fighting souls in front of him were extremely miserable. They were about to be turned into ashes. Gui Qianya's face turned ugly. The reincarnation sword. But so what? Life and death were in his hands. All ghosts would submit to him. In Gui Chenya's hand was a piece of black paper. It seemed to be made of some kind of metal. It was very mysterious. As soon as he took it out, the 1,000 fighting souls that were about to be turned into ashes suddenly received the support of power. They actually reappeared between heaven and earth. The 1,000 fighting souls roared together. They resisted the phantom of the reincarnation sword together. How could this be? The old phoenix exclaimed. The patriarch of the Yi clan also gasped. He actually blocked it. This was the power of the reincarnation sword. Murong Qingqing frowned. There was something wrong with that piece of paper. Even this thing was taken out. Great Emperor Bailey's eyelids also twitched wildly. The Supreme Palace was really ruthless. Fortunately, he let Lin Wudi fight with them in advance. Otherwise, it would be really troublesome to let Dao Chen fight with Gui Chenya directly. Great, it appeared. The Supreme Masters of the Supreme Palace laughed. Once the Book of Life and Death was out, who could stop it? Life and death were in their hands. Lin Xian also frowned. You also have the Book of Life and Death. Kid, you're quite knowledgeable. You even know about the Book of Life and Death. That's right. Now the Book of Life and Death is under my control. No matter how strong your reincarnation sword is, it's just a phantom. How can it compete with the Book of Life and Death? Today, I will kill you with my own hands. Then, I will capture your soul and refine it into a ghost king. I will make you submit to me forever. Chapter 60, 127. Gui Chenya, who had taken out the Book of Life and Death, was extremely powerful. He controlled thousands of fighting souls and moved quickly. These thousands of fighting souls seemed to have merged into one. They were extremely powerful. Even the phantom image of the Samsara sword started to sway. Lin Xian, you can't do it. I'm the strongest. The divine fire seed on Gui Chenya's body jumped, showing signs of a breakthrough. The people from the Paragon Hall were overjoyed when they saw this. The people of the Hidden Emperor's Star were nervous. Damn Gui Chenya. Is he going to break through? Don't worry, it's not that simple, Xueqi said. She was very clear about Lin Xian's strength. The people of the other monarch races also said, the power of the Samsara sword is not enough. However, Lin Xian still had the great dragon sword soul. He hadn't used the power of the dragon sword yet. Yes, it wasn't the last moment yet. Everyone guessed that Lin Xian was going to use the power of the great dragon sword. However, they guessed wrong. Lin Xian smiled. The Book of Life and Death. Humph, do you think you can resist my Samsara sword with the Book of Life and Death? You're too naive. After saying that, Lin Xian also took out a fragment of the Samsara sword. As soon as this fragment appeared, it merged with the phantom of the Samsara sword. Slash! With a roar, the Samsara sword shone brightly, as if it had turned into a peerless divine sword, and fell down fiercely. The thousands of fighting souls were immediately cut in half. Otherwise, the sword would have hit the Book of Life and Death. The Book of Life and Death shook violently. Gui Chenya felt as if he had been struck by lightning. 3 cracks appeared on one of his arms, and he almost lost his grip on the Book of Life and Death. How is this possible? He was dumbfounded and couldn't believe it. The phantom of the Samsara sword had been restrained by him. How could it become so powerful in an instant? The faces of the Supremes of the Supreme Palace also changed drastically. Damn it, what is that? They all stared at the front. The Bailey Emperor also gasped. Could it be that the fragment is the Samsara sword Dao? He has collected the fragments of the Samsara sword. This guy actually had such a trump card. Hearing this, the others were all shocked. A fragment of the Samsara sword. No wonder. It was no wonder that the reincarnation sword's prowess increased exponentially the moment it was taken out. It was actually a fragment of the Samsara sword. Gui Chinya was also gnashing his teeth. His broken arm quickly recovered. He snorted and said, "It's just a fragment. What's there to be arrogant about?" On the other side, Lin Xian walked over with his sword in hand. He also said, "You're just a page of the Book of Life and Death, not everything. Therefore, using the shard against you is enough." Next, he continued to swing the reincarnation sword. The reincarnation sword shards and the reincarnation sword shadows kept falling. Gui Chinya activated the Book of Life and Death to block the attack. The two of them clashed again, shaking the heavens and earth. Boom! The Samsara sword slashed out. This time, it hit Gui Chinya's left arm. Gui Chinya didn't have time to dodge. His left arm instantly drooped down. There were no cracks on it, but it could no longer be used because the sword had severed the soul of the left arm. "Damn it," Gui Chinya roared, and attacked crazily. The Book of Life and Death turned into a ray of black light. He engraved Lin Xian's name on it. In the next moment, Lin Xian felt as if he was struck by lightning. He felt the blood in his body weaken a lot, as if his life was draining away. There were white hairs on his head. It was terrifying. Everyone was terrified. The Samsara sword could sever the soul, and the Book of Life and Death could seize life and death. Both of them were extremely terrifying things. He wondered who was stronger between the two of them. The spectators were dumbfounded. They were extremely excited. Such a battle was rare even in 10,000 years. After a few moves, both of them were injured. Now it was time to see who could last longer. Gui Chinya's face was a little ugly. To be honest, if it were another great emperor, they would have died long ago. Indeed, he had killed a great emperor with the power of the Book of Life and Death. But now he couldn't defeat Lin Xian. Instead, he was injured more and more. Once his soul was severed by the Samsara sword, it would be very difficult for it to heal again. "I don't believe that your blood and life are limitless." Gui Chinya gritted his teeth. He wanted to turn Lin Xian into a skeleton even if his soul was injured. "Kill." With a roar, he controlled the Book of Life and Death with one hand. On the other hand, Gui Chinya activated the 1,000-soul pagoda again. The 1,000-soul pagoda opened and released 1,000 war souls. Although they were killed, the 1,000-soul pagoda was still a treasure. The 1,000-soul pagoda flew back and landed on top of his head. It lowered its aura to block the power of the Samsara sword. At the same time, the myriad ghost armor appeared on his body. He didn't believe that Lin Xian could kill everyone this time. The Samsara sword struck the 1,000-soul pagoda. The 1,000-soul pagoda shook and blocked a lot of the power of the Samsara sword. "Great. It's working. Lin Wudi, go to hell." Gui Chinya quickly attacked. Lin Xian snorted. Heaven-defying sword technique. Then sword chi gathered in his left hand again. In addition to the Samsara sword, he used other sword techniques. Boom! This attack caused the 1,000 Souls pagoda to tremble. Damn it! Gui Chinya's face turned ugly. He had to end this quickly because Lin Xian hadn't used the power of the Dragon Sword Soul yet. He quickly rushed over and wanted to stick the page of the Book of Life and Death on Lin Xian. Once it stuck, Lin Xian would die. Even a great emperor couldn't escape. Looking at Gui Chinya rushing over, Lin Xian sneered. "You want to fight me in close combat? You're courting death." Myriad sword convergence. Suddenly, thousands of sword chi appeared on his body and slashed in all directions with him as the center. Gui Chinya activated the myriad ghost armor to block it. He was very confident in his armor. Countless ghost heads began to bite the sword chi. However, this time, Lin Xian used the power of the Dragon Sword Soul. The sword chi became even sharper and more indestructible. It pierced through all the ghosts. Kata snorted. Cracks appeared on the myriad ghost armor. Gui Chinya let out a miserable cry and quickly hid in the Thousand-Soul Pagoda. However, the power of the dragon sword soul was too terrifying. However, the myriad ghost armor and the Thousand-Soul Pagoda should be enough. If he couldn't block it, he could die. It seemed that Gui Qinya was going all out. Seeing this from afar, Anya's heart was in his mouth. This time, Lin Wuti couldn't block it. Just as Zhang Xian had expected, the sword chi of the myriad swords convergence struck the Thousand-Soul Pagoda. However, it didn't hurt Gui Qinya. Gui Qinya heaved a sigh of relief. Next, he would fight the Samsara sword with all his strength. First, he would knock away the Samsara sword, then use the Book of Life and Death to take his life. Buzz. At this moment, Lin Xian shouted coldly. His entire being seemed to have turned into a human-shaped divine dragon. He instantly tore open the void and charged forward. In an instant, he entered the Thousand-Soul Pagoda. Damn it, how did you do it? Gui Qinya was going crazy. The Thousand-Soul Pagoda was his weapon. Without his permission, who could enter? Even the great emperors couldn't enter. But this guy entered in an instant. Lin Xian smiled. My power is invincible. Where can I not go? It's just the Thousand-Soul Pagoda. I want to see how you can withstand my sword chi. Chapter 61:28. Boom. After entering the Thousand-Soul Tower, Lin Xian continued to attack. The heaven-defying sword technique flew out and turned into 4 divine beasts, rushing forward. Gui Qinya resisted with all his might. However, he couldn't resist the sword energy with the 10,000 ghost armor alone. Therefore, he was sent flying in an instant. With a cracking sound, the bones in his body caved in deeply. He spat out large mouthfuls of blood, and his internal organs were severely injured. Damn it, he miscalculated. Gui Qinya went crazy. Now that he was in the Thousand-Soul Tower, he couldn't escape at all. As long as Lin Xian filled the entire Thousand-Soul Tower with sword energy, he wouldn't be able to dodge. No, he had to get out quickly. Gui Qinya had a headache. He really didn't expect that the other party was so powerful. He ran as fast as he could towards the outside. The people watching the battle outside were also stunned. Where did Lin Xian go? Even the people from the Supreme Hall were stunned. The Bailey Emperor said, "That kid seems to have entered the Thousand-Soul Tower." "That's impossible." The Dark Crow roared. "The Tower of 1,000 Souls is still an extreme grade weapon, isn't it? How could it let an outsider go in so easily?" However, those utmost exalted were frowning deeply. Look, the terrifying sword energy coming from the Thousand-Soul Tower. Perhaps that was the case. Not long after, a figure flew out of the Thousand-Soul Tower in a sorry state. Who was it? They looked carefully and then sucked in a breath of cold air. It was Gui Qinya. Gui Qinya was extremely miserable. His body was stained with blood, and white bones could be seen in many places. Otherwise, one of his arms would have disappeared without a trace. Seeing this miserable state, everyone gasped. It hurt to look at him like this. Gui Qinya roared to the sky, as if he had gone crazy. The surrounding spectators all cried out in alarm and retreated. Some young people couldn't retreat in time and were pierced by the blood on Gui Qinya's body. In an instant, they turned into ashes. The others felt their hair stand on end. Was the blood on this guy so terrifying? No matter how much you shout, it's useless. Your strength is only SOSO. You're not my match. Lin Xian walked out of the Thousand-Soul Tower, his body filled with sword energy. Even though he was injured, he was still in a much better condition than Gui Qinya. Not only that, but the divine flame seed on his body was also pulsating nonstop. From the looks of it, there were signs of a breakthrough. Damn it, suppress it, Gui Qinya roared. The Thousand Souls Pagoda continued to grow in size until it was the size of an ancient mountain that came crashing down from the sky. Immortal technique, 5 elements sword. Lin Xian formed a seal with his left hand. He raised his hand and 5 streams of sword qi transformed into a 5 elements diagram, instantly blocking the 1,000 Souls Pagoda. Boom! The 1,000 Souls Pagoda was sent flying and landed in the Red Lotus Star Sea. Everyone was stunned, not because of Lin Xian's power, but because of the celestial technique. Why does this guy have immortal qi on him? Even Gui Qinya was dumbfounded. Previously, he could clearly sense that the power in his opponent's body was the power of the seed of divine fire. The other party was the same as him, walking the divine path. Yet now his opponent had unleashed an immortal technique. This was the power of his immortal qi seed. The other party had actually also cultivated the immortal Tao. What nonsense! Seeing this, the Bailey Emperor snorted coldly. Everyone's energy was limited. They couldn't even reach a high level in a single Tao, let alone cultivate both the divine and immortal Taos together. And this kid still wasn't willing to give up on one of them. What was he trying to do? Was he trying to break through both Taos at the same time? What a joke! No one had ever succeeded in doing so. The people from the Supreme Hall furrowed their brows tightly. This guy was a madman. On the other side, there were a few figures standing in the endless void. They were the Iron Blood Emperor, the Empress, and others from the realm of the gods. How could they not come to such a shocking battle between Lin Xian and Gui Qinya? They had to be on guard against those old monsters from the Otherworld, Heavenly Palace, and the Supreme Palace. However, they didn't show themselves. Instead, they watched the battle in the dark. The Iron Blood Emperor said, "Kid, you still have to take this step." The Empress said, "He might have a chance. After all, the Black-Yellow Pagoda and the 7 Treasures Exquisite Pagoda appeared together. This is his best chance. Perhaps he really could succeed." Although she said that, she didn't have much confidence in her heart. Below, in the Red Lotus Heart Sea, Gui Qinya was also dumbfounded. It took him a long time to react. He exclaimed, "Are you crazy? Are you trying to become an immortal? Are you kidding me?" Lin Xian said, "You can't do it, but that doesn't mean I can't. I want to become an immortal." Now, there was no need to hide anything. After defeating his opponent and Dao Chen, Lin Xian would reach the realm of the gods. At that time, his divine fire and immortal qi would reach the realm of the gods. Everyone could see him. There was no need to hide anything. Stupid. No one had ever succeeded. There were a few crazy people in ancient times, but they all died without exception, and they died so miserably that they didn't even have the chance to be resurrected, let alone be reborn. Even if there were earth immortals in the realm of the gods, if you really took this step, your soul would be destroyed. Rebirth? I will succeed this time, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. He knew that after a great emperor died, he didn't necessarily die. He had some heaven-defying methods. For example, didn't his father come back to life? And that demon emperor could come back to life after death. There must be someone on the Nirvana realm who used this method. But Lin Xian really didn't plan to use this method. If he didn't succeed this time, he would die. Ha ha ha, Lin Wudi, you are really an idiot. Gui Qinya seemed to have heard the funniest joke. Do you think you can surpass the ancients? So many powerful people in ancient times failed. How can you succeed? How can I fight a lunatic like you? I don't even need to do anything. You will die if you reach the realm of the gods. Not going to fight. You don't dare to fight, do you? In this starry sky, only one person can reach the realm of the gods in an era. Since you don't dare, kneel down obediently and be my stepping stone. Lin Xian's voice was getting louder and louder. His aura was constantly erupting. He used a divine skill in his right hand and an immortal technique in his left. He slashed forward with both swords. You are courting death. Did he really look down on him? Gui Qinya was also angry. He was also a peerless genius. If it weren't for this special realm of the gods, he would have been a great emperor. He wouldn't have waited until now. Therefore, he also roared angrily and charged out again. But after dozens of moves, he was beaten back again. 2 sword marks appeared on his body. One hurt his soul, and the other hurt his meridians. He was covered in blood. Half of his body couldn't move. Moreover, the power of the reincarnation sword and the great dragon sword made his recovery very slow. It was probably impossible for him to return to his peak state in an instant. Damn it. He hurriedly took out some treasures and swallowed them. He swallowed a few black pills. He also crazily absorbed the power of all the realms. But how could Lin Xian give him a chance? Before the other party could recover, he slashed out with 2 more swords. This time, Gui Chinya's body was completely smashed into pieces. His chi and blood fell to the freezing point in an instant. Oh no! The faces of the people from the Supreme Hall changed drastically. He lost. This time, Gui Chinya was really defeated. Hurry up and attack. In an instant, several 9 heavens Supremes rushed over. Chapter 61:29. The Supremes who were watching the battle from afar could no longer hold back when they saw the scene before them. They quickly made their moves. Some went to save Gui Chinya, while others went to kill Lin Xian. With a boom, Lin Xian clashed with a supreme being and slashed forward with his sword. With a boom, that supreme being was sent flying. Lin Xian also took 2 steps back, his blood boiling. The surrounding people were stunned. This sudden change was beyond their expectations. Behind them, the Divine Union people roared. Despicable! Xue Qi rushed over, a powerful icy aura erupting from her body. The other people's expressions changed drastically. Did the Supreme Being Hall break the rules and attack? Lin Xian's expression was also extremely cold. If they wanted to fight, he would accompany them to the end. He roared angrily and rushed forward. Since the other party didn't follow the rules, then they couldn't blame him. The one who had attacked him was called the Great Demon Supreme Being. At this moment, his expression was extremely ugly. He had been sent flying by a sword. Damn it! Now he roared even more angrily. This was because he realized that the other party was actually rushing towards him again. Damn it! Do you really think that I can't beat you? He transformed into a terrifying demonic beast and rushed forward. The other supreme beings also roared and attacked. Gui Chinya was severely injured. It would be difficult for him to recover, let alone become a great emperor. How could they be willing to accept this? In an instant, a great battle broke out. Xue Qi rushed over. Xia Jiu also attacked. These 2 were great emperors, so their attacks were earth-shattering. The Divine Union people also attacked. The 2 sides fought fiercely, and it was very shocking. Lin Xian's sword energy danced, slashing the great demon supreme being and forcing him to retreat. The other party was no match for him at all. After sending the other party flying, Lin Xian turned around again. He stared at Gui Chinya. He said loudly, "He lost the Dao verification battle, so I plan to stop. However, since you guys are so reckless, then there's no need for him to live." After saying that, he rushed over. "How dare you?" Nether's supreme being roared. What was the other party trying to do? They wanted to kill him. Did they think that he didn't exist? He took the Book of Life and Death and unleashed a terrifying power. However, Lin Xian blocked it with the fragments of the Samsara sword. At the same time, he unleashed his universe ring. With a clang, a golden light flew out and Gui Chinya was torn to pieces. Ah, an incomparably miserable voice could be heard. "Save me." He let out a terrified sound. "Save your grandpa. Go to hell." Lin Xian shouted coldly. The power of the great dragon's sword soul surged forth, and with a wave of its hand, over 100 surges of dragon-shaped sword chi shrouded the other party's shattered body. "Damn it, get out of here." The Netherworld Sovereign and the others quickly rushed forward and attacked Lin Xian. This time, Lin Xian didn't dodge. Instead, he used the strength of his divine body to resist the attack. Cracks seemed to have appeared on his 9-yang divine body. Golden blood rolled down. But so what? Lin Xian received the blow and was slightly injured. In the end, Gui Qinya was completely killed. Was he dead? Everyone was dumbfounded. They couldn't imagine that Gui Qinya would die. After all, he was an existence who had once killed a great emperor. The Supremes roared crazily. Gui Qinya was the disciple of the demon god. They couldn't accept the fact that he died just like that. One had to know that even a great emperor couldn't kill Gui Qinya. Gui Qinya's strength was incomparably powerful. There was also the 1,000-soul pagoda, the 1,000-ghost armor, and more importantly, the Book of Life and Death. With so many terrifying treasures, even 2 great emperors couldn't kill him. But now, he was killed by Lin Xian. Kill him and avenge his highness. The other utmost exalted were also enraged. They all rushed toward Lin Xian. Not only these Supremes, but the others also did the same. Even the Dark Crow received the order and had to take action. Do you really think we exist? The Iron Blood Great Emperor and the others roared and rushed over. They had been waiting for a long time. The battle was extremely terrifying. The experts from both sides fought fiercely, and the entire Red Lotus Star Ocean seemed to be overturned. At this moment, an earth-shattering sound was heard. The Iron Blood Great Emperor, Xia Jiu, Xueqi, and the others were sent flying. Cracks appeared on their bodies. Damn it. This is the power of an Earth immortal. Retreat quickly. Lin Xian shouted and quickly retreated. From the endless void, a gigantic pitch-black hand with an unparalleled amount of death energy slapped down viciously. Everyone was terrified, and they fled crazily. The entire Red Lotus Starry Sea was instantly smashed into pieces. Even before the palm landed, its aura alone was enough to kill a martial monarch. Everyone was stunned. This was a power that surpassed the great emperor. Then, was it an Earth immortal? An Earth immortal had actually made a move. Nether Sovereign and the others roared, "You killed the Grim Reaper's disciple. The Grim Reaper won't let you go." The other scalps went numb. What? Gui Qinya was the Grim Reaper's disciple. No wonder he was so terrifying. It's over. Lin Wuti is doomed. No matter how strong he is, he can't stop an Earth immortal, right? Boom. At this critical moment, an endless black hole appeared in the sky, connecting into a black longsword. The sword blocked the Grim Reaper's hand. In the next moment, an old voice sounded. "If you want to fight, I'll accompany you." In the distance, the Grim Reaper's voice sounded. "Wine Sword Immortal, it seems that you have recovered. However, I want to see if you have truly recovered to your peak." After saying that, the aura of death swept over like the sea. However, countless black vortexes in the sky kept sweeping. The two collided. The 2 Earth Immortals rushed into the endless void. They also fought fiercely. Boundless divine power surged forth, causing everyone to be alarmed. Was it blocked? The people of the Supreme Palace had ugly expressions. They didn't expect Lin Xian's side to be so well prepared. Lin Xian no longer had anything to worry about. With a cold laugh, he sent a supreme martial artist flying with a single punch. In the next moment, he turned around and slashed. This sword directly split Open Crow's body. Crow turned into countless crows and flew in all directions. It was extremely miserable. They had to escape quickly. But how could the other party escape? In the sky, an eye of heaven looked down with the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation. All the crows were suppressed. Boom. The 6 paths of reincarnation rotated like a huge millstone that could destroy heaven and earth, instantly shattering the crows in the sky. Ah, Crow screamed miserably. His body and soul were destroyed. Damn it! The people of the Supreme Palace had all gone crazy. They were even more ruthless. Lin Xian was not afraid. In fact, the more he fought, the braver he became. The other people's faces were pale. They didn't know what the outcome of this battle would be. However, from the looks of it, Lin Wuti shouldn't be in any danger. Right? In the distance, great Emperor Bailey, who was silently watching the battle, narrowed his eyes when he saw this scene. The Supreme Palace couldn't help but make a move, but it seemed that it would be very difficult to succeed. Thinking of this, he glanced at the void in the distance. He could naturally feel that Guhan was there. This sinister guy should be unable to hold back and make a move soon. Sure enough, Guhan was hiding in the void. When he saw this scene, the corners of his mouth curled up. Good opportunity. Xing Martial Demon, you too can make a move. Chapter 6130. Hearing Guhan's words, two more figures appeared in the void. One was a woman surrounded by starlight, like a goddess of the Star Palace. The other was a man with black hair and a cold expression. The demonic aura on this person was very terrifying. He was called Wu Mo. Both of them were also Tao Vindicators recommended by. And hearing Guhan's words, he said, "Remember the conditions you promised us. After the matter is done, you must fulfill them. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." Wu Mo said coldly. Guhan smiled. "Don't worry, am I such an untrustworthy person? That's good." Xing also snorted coldly. In the next moment, the two of them attacked. Lin Xian and the others were still fighting in front of them. Lin Xian swept in all directions. His sword chi was extremely surging. Those Supremes were also beaten until their arms were numb. Damn it! Among them, a few Supremes had already broken through the seal and reached the peak of the Great Emperor realm. The Nether Sovereign was one of them. He roared angrily, holding a black spear in his hand, and fought. However, the more he fought, the more shocked he became. The current Lin Wuti was really too strong. He had the immortal Qi seed and the divine fire seed on him. He was no match for the immortal Qi and divine ability at the same time. If it weren't for the fact that they had more people on their side, he wouldn't be able to suppress the other party with his own strength. At this moment, suddenly, he felt his hair stand on end. He felt two extremely terrifying forces suddenly appear beside him. This made him crazy. Were the people from the God realm assassinating him? How many great emperors had the God realm sent? However, in the next moment, he was stunned, because he realized that these two attacks only came to his side, but not to him. Instead, they were attacking Lin Wuti in front of him. Who was it? They were from the Supreme Palace. No, the people from the Supreme Palace were all stopped. Could it be Bayan? Damn it. These guys finally made a move. Just as he was thinking about this, two figures appeared. They were a man and a woman. Among them, a vast star appeared in the woman's hand. She slashed down with her sword. Endless starlight exploded, and the sword was pointed at Lin Xian. Boom. The other person was a black-haired man. His expression was ice-cold, and the demonic aura around him was monstrous. He didn't use any weapons. A black fist tore through the air and headed straight for Lin Xian's head. These two people were the Tao verifiers of the Nirvana realm. When the Netherworld Sovereign saw this scene, he laughed out instantly. Facing such a sneak attack, even if Lin Wuti didn't die, he would be seriously injured. In short, there was only one outcome for the other party, and that was death. Not good. Murong Qingcheng and the others cried out in surprise when they saw this. The expressions of the great emperor clans who were watching the battle from afar changed drastically. There were still people, and two of them were extremely terrifying. When Kunping Zi and Qilin Zi saw this scene, they exclaimed, "It's him! It's the Tao Vindicator from the Nirvana realm." When the others heard this, they were stunned. Did Higan make a move too? then wouldn't Lin Xian be in extreme danger? Even though the others wanted to make a move at this moment, it was already too late. Lin Xian frowned. The sudden appearance of these two people was indeed beyond his expectations. However, he also thought that Higgin would definitely make a move in such a situation. He just didn't know who the enemy was. Now that he saw these two people, he snorted coldly. Endless divine fire gathered into the 9-yang divine sword and slashed toward the starry sky. At the same time, he formed a seal with his left hand. Boundless demonic chi danced on his palm as well. Boom! His fist collided with the other party's fist, causing a loud boom. After the collision, Lin Xian was forced to take a few steps back. However, the two of them were knocked flying. It was as if they had been struck by lightning. Cracks actually appeared on their bodies. How was this possible? Both of them were dumbfounded. Their sneak attack didn't hurt the other party, but they were injured instead. Had Lin Wuyi become so terrifying? It was resolved. Morong Qingcheng, Yi Wu Dao, and the others heaved a sigh of relief. On the other side, Solitary Frost's expression darkened as he watched the battle. Trash, Lin Wuyi could kill Gui Qinya. You two didn't use your ultimate techniques when you attacked. You were too careless. He was furious. What were these two guys thinking? Xing and Martial Demon's expressions were ugly. Although they had attacked with their full strength, it wasn't their ultimate technique. To be honest, they were too careless. In their opinion, Lin Wuyi shouldn't have much strength left in the battle with Gui Qinya. He couldn't block their attacks at all. Not to mention, there were still elites from the Supreme Hall around. However, in that instant, Lin Xian seemed to have recovered his strength. How was this possible? Did he take some kind of elixir? Their guess was right. Lin Xian had indeed used up a lot of energy when he defeated Gui Qinya. After all, Gui Qinya was a true expert. However, these people didn't expect him to have the ancient land. In that instant, Lin Xian swallowed some divine spring of life and recovered his strength. Humph! Lin Xian snorted. The people of the other world, Heavenly King couldn't help but attack. However, the people they sent are too trash. I thought they would send at least a few great emperors. I didn't expect it to be only the two of you. What did you say? Xing and Martial Demon were furious. Was he looking down on them? Lin Xian snorted. What? Am I wrong? Your Sword of Starlight is called a sword technique, and your demonic chi is too weak. Are you a demon? Why do I look at you like trash? Damn it! Martial Demon roared, and demonic chi surged from his body. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a demon god bathed in blood and rushed over fiercely. Demonic path, heaven-shaking fist. His fist technique seemed to be able to tear the world apart. Let me tell you what a demon is. Lin Xian smiled, and the immortal chi seed in his left eye exploded. In the next moment, it turned into boundless demonic chi. He formed a seal with his palm. Demonic seal. With a boom, a huge seal was pushed out horizontally. Like a clap of thunder, it directly hit the other party's fist technique. Demonic tune. Lin Xian waved his palm again, forming a demonic zither. He gently played it. The void was instantly torn apart by a pair of ruthless hands. A terrifying power rushed toward Martial Demon. Martial Demon felt as if he was struck by lightning. He kept retreating and vomiting blood. At this moment, his Dao heart was about to collapse. Damn it! Compared to the other party, how was he a demon? How could the other party's demonic chi be so terrifying? I don't believe it. He had gone crazy. The demonic chi on his body burned and turned into a black demon god spear, attacking crazily. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and do it. At the same time, he roared at Xing beside him. Xing came back to her senses and took a deep breath. Starry Sky sword technique. After saying that, she formed a seal with her hands and all the starlight in the universe was forcefully grabbed by her. Then 72 starry sky swords were formed and surrounded her. Slash! With a shout, the 72 starry sky swords rushed over crazily. Each of them turned into the only one in the world. Chapter 61:31. You're too inexperienced to compete with me in sword techniques. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He used the Cosmos sword technique, using everything as a sword. Similarly, the surrounding starlight turned into swords of the stars and flew out, both with the power of the stars. However, Lin Xian's sword energy was clearly more terrifying. It tore the 72 swords of the stars into pieces. Xing kept retreating. More than a dozen sword marks appeared on her body. Half of the bones in his body were broken, revealing deep white bones. It was an extremely ghastly sight. The two of you can't do it. Lin Xian shook his head. Damn it. Attack together. Another two Supremes charged over, together with Xing and the martial demon. The four of them attacked together. They charged at Lin Xian from all directions. Lin Xian laughed loudly. Then he pulled out the immortal slaying sword. The long sword swept out. Sword energy danced, carrying a mysterious aura. One sword immortal technique. One sword divine ability. Xing's shoulder was pierced. One of the martial demon's arms was cut off. The other two Nine Heaven Supremes were also sent flying, vomiting mouthfuls of blood. Lin Xian became more and more courageous as he fought. He was like a peerless sword god. Boom, boom, boom. The martial demon vomited blood again and fell into the void. Xing's face was pale, her body swaying. Damn it, the other party's strength was too terrifying. Whether it was immortal techniques or divine abilities, they were all cultivated to the extreme. Was this guy really going to walk the path of immortals? He fought four top experts alone and still had the upper hand. Lin Xian's strength was beyond everyone's expectations. At this moment, the Empress in the distance also made her move. She took out the jade scepter and flew forward. A ray of scepter light streaked across the sky. Immediately, two Supremes screamed and turned into a bloody mist. They were severely injured. At the critical moment, the two of them recovered to their peak. Although they didn't die, they were extremely miserable. They probably wouldn't be able to recover from their serious injuries without a few hundred years. This woman was so terrifying. The scepter she held had mysterious power. Did they still want to fight? These people from the Supreme Palace were pale. In terms of strength, it would be difficult for them to gain the upper hand. Furthermore, the Grim Reaper was also being held back by the people from the deity realm, unless the Permitha realm sent more great emperors over. However, Dao Qin from Higan hadn't proven his Dao yet, so Higan probably wouldn't mobilize all of them. Damn it, looks like I can only retreat. Just as they were hesitating, the Empress charged out, grabbing one of the greater demon paragons and attacking him madly. The greater demon Supremes were stunned. Although he had recovered to his peak, his injuries were too severe. He screamed miserably. His heart and soul were destroyed. His blood sprinkled down from the 9 heavens. Everyone felt their blood run cold. He was dead, a supreme being. This was too unusual. One had to know that paragons were even more terrifying than Dao verifiers. Let's see who else dares to make a move. The Empress snorted coldly. Yuruyu in her hand became even more terrifying. Retreat. The Grim Reaper in the sky roared. The people from the Supreme Hall quickly retreated. Every one of them was injured, and they were extremely unwilling to accept this. Just you wait. This matter won't end just like that. The Grim Reaper also left. His disciple had been killed, so he would definitely take revenge. I'll accompany you anytime. Lord Alcohol's voice sounded. He didn't care at all. The Supreme Hall had been too arrogant recently. It was time to give them a hard blow. Seeing these paragons leave, Xing and the martial demon also retreated frantically. However, how could Lin Xian let the two of them leave? He stepped in the air, and the immortal slaying sword in his hand burst out with a piercing cold light, fusing with the great dragon sword. Slaying immortals with a single sword, the roar of the great dragon sword's soul resounded through the world. Everyone felt that their bodies were about to be split apart. Countless people prostrated on the ground. When Gu Han saw the scene, he turned and ran. Great Emperor Bailey also sighed. It's over. Those two guys are dead for sure. Damn Lin Wuti, he's too arrogant. Even the martial monarchs began to tremble. They realized that this sword seemed to be able to kill a great emperor. No, Xing roared in horror. She mobilized the power of the stars to form a starry sky shield to resist. The martial demon turned and ran. She pushed her speed to the limit. However, it was useless. Lin Xian's sword strike was a fatal blow. He was confident that he could kill a martial monarch, let alone the others. After this sword strike, the entire Red Lotus star sea was split in half. The spatial rift didn't disappear for a long time. Xing, and the martial demon had long disappeared. The two of them were only quasi-emperors. Although they had hope of confirming their Tao, they weren't great emperors. Therefore, they were reduced to ashes under this sword strike. Were they dead? Everyone swallowed their saliva, dumbfounded. This sword strike was too terrifying. Who could resist it? Great Emperor Bailey's face was also extremely gloomy. Damn it. Previously, he was still gloating. The Supreme Hall had suffered heavy losses. Even the disciple of the earth, Immortal, had died. But now, it seemed that their situation wasn't good either. The death of another two geniuses gave him a headache. These Tao-confirming geniuses weren't cabbages. In the future, they all had hope of becoming great emperors. Lin Wuti, this feud was huge. He snorted coldly. This sword strike was a fatal blow. But can you use a second sword strike? I'm afraid you don't have much strength left, right? You can try. Lin Xian stared at the other party with an extremely cold expression. Great Emperor Bailey snorted and shook his head. He wasn't prepared to try. Instead, he said, "We, the other side, have pushed out 7 Tao confirmations. Among them, the one who has truly proven his Tao is young Master Tao Qin. And young Master Tao Qin will soon open the path of Tao confirmation. Lin Wuti, can you recover? If you can't, just wait for death." With that, Great Emperor Bailey turned and left. He had to inform Tao Qin quickly. That sword strike just now was too terrifying. Tao Qin had to be prepared. This Lin Wuti was indeed the most difficult to deal with. What Tao Qin? I will kill him with my own hands. He's no match for me at all. Lin Xian said coldly. Hearing this, Great Emperor Bailey stopped. He turned his head and sneered. I forgot to tell you, there are some things that you don't know yet, right? What do you want to say? Lin Xian frowned. Great Emperor Bailey smiled. Your father, Lin Zhan, was the Battle Emperor back then. Do you know how the Battle Emperor died? He was killed by Saber Immortal with one strike. Lin Xian really didn't know about this. Great Emperor Bailey continued. Young Master Tao Qin is Saber Immortal's son. Back then, Saber Immortal could kill the Battle Emperor. Now, young Master Tao Qin can kill you. So, prepare to die. With that, Great Emperor Bailey laughed loudly and turned to leave. The others were extremely shocked. There's actually such a thing. If it was true, it would be a huge blow to Lin Xian's confidence. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. He clenched his fists, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. Damn it. He was the son of his enemy. Was this true? Lin Xian looked at the Empress. The Empress frowned and said, Ask Wine Sword Immortal. There are some things that I'm not too sure about. In the sky, Wine Sword Immortal descended. He waved his hand, and a black vortex isolated the others. Then he sighed. That's right. What that guy said is true. However, kid, don't be affected. Back then, the Battle Emperor was only a great emperor. Saber Immortal was already an Earth Immortal. The difference between the two is huge. Now that your father has become an Earth Immortal, the difference between the two is rapidly shrinking. So don't take it to heart. Chapter 60, 132. So father's enemy was actually the Saber Immortal. Was he an Earth Immortal? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He said, "Father's enemy, I think he should be able to deal with it himself." However, there were some grudges that had to be taken. There was no need for Dao Qin to live. The battle of Dao Confirmation was also a battle of life and death. I will kill him with my own hands. Husband, I have confidence in you. Xue Qi and the others also said. However, the Wine Sword Immortal didn't say anything. His eyes flickered. It seemed that he had to invite the battle god over. Because Dao Qin had confirmed his Dao, the other side would definitely be heavily guarded. Would the Saber Immortal come? If the Saber Immortal came and attacked again, it would be troublesome. The Saber Immortal wasn't an ordinary Earth Immortal. He cultivated an immortal technique. At present, only the battle god was capable of suppressing the other party. However, the battle god probably couldn't attack too many times in his current state. It was really troublesome. It seemed that he had to speed up. The Yuhua Immortal Dynasty had appeared. The Wine Sword Immortal thought to himself. Of course, he didn't tell Lin Xian about these things, so as not to increase his burden. Now, the only thing Lin Xian had to do was to quickly adjust his state to the peak, enter the final battle. Lin Xian naturally knew this as well. Therefore, after they returned, they immediately entered the ancient land to recover their cultivation. On the other side, after the Bailey Emperor returned, his expression was also solemn. He came to Dao Qin. Dao Qin opened his eyes and said, "Looking at you, you should have failed, right? Gu Han is really useless. Where is she?" "I don't know." The Bailey Emperor shook his head. "After the battle, I don't know where she went." Dao Qin said, "Forget about her. Lin Wuyi won this battle?" The Bailey Emperor nodded. "Yes, he won, and Gui Qinya is dead." A great battle broke out between the Divine Realm and the Supreme Palace. Even the Earth Immortals took action. Martial Monarch Bailey explained the situation to Qin Nan. In the end, he said, "Xing, and the Martial Demon are also dead. They were killed by Lin Wuyi's sword." The last sword in his hand was a little terrifying. The sword in his hand was very sharp. Moreover, with the great dragon sword, that sword could kill a great emperor. With that, he stopped speaking and looked at Dao Qin. Obviously, he was reminding Dao Qin. Hearing this, Dao Qin also said, "This is really surprising. I didn't expect him to be so strong. But don't worry, you don't have to worry about me." Great Emperor Bailey was indeed worried because Dao Qin had only used 3 moves to kill great emperors. On the other hand, Lin Xian only needed 1 move. This gap was a little too big. However, Dao Qin smiled and said, "Do you think that I killed a great emperor with 3 saber strikes with all my strength? You underestimate me too much. That was just a casual attack from me." Great Emperor Bailey felt a lot more relaxed after hearing this, although he had always followed and served the other party. However, he had no idea just what level Dao Qin's true strength was at. However, he still reminded him, now that the kid has been fighting one battle after another, "I'm afraid he doesn't have much strength, and he's also injured. Now is the best time for us to attack him." When Dao Qin heard this, he laughed. "You don't have any confidence in me. I don't want to fight now." Since he wanted to prove his Dao, he had to defeat him at his peak. "Spread the word that I want to fight him to the death in a month." "What? A month?" Great Emperor Bailey frowned. Dao Qin snorted coldly. "That's right. He should be able to recover to his peak in a month. I want him to die in his most glorious moment. Why aren't you going?" "Yes, I know." Great Emperor Bailey turned around and spread the news. The universe was incomparably shocked. Lin Xian had won the battle with Gue Qinya. Not only that, he had even killed Gue Qinya in this battle. He had even killed a few other Dao verifiers. Anya, Xing and Wu Mo. These three were also extremely powerful Dao verifiers, but they had all been killed by Lin Xian. In an instant, Lin Xian's reputation had reached its peak. Countless people even felt that he might prove his Dao and become a great emperor. However, another piece of news had also spread. Dao Qin was actually the son of an Earth Immortal, and this Earth Immortal had once killed Lin Xian's father, the Battle Emperor. The grudge between the two sides was very deep. In an instant, countless people were discussing spiritedly. Could Lin Xian avenge his father? Could he defeat the son of an Earth Immortal? It was said that Earth Immortals were extremely powerful, and the Earth Immortal was the son of an Earth Immortal. The Hidden Emperor Star was also discussing spiritedly. Even the people of the Divine Union were under great pressure. What they were most worried about now was that Dao Qin would immediately prove his Dao. Lin Xian would be forced to participate in the battle. This way, Lin Xian might not be able to recover to his peak, and might even be at a disadvantage. Furthermore, they felt that, given Permethaw's despicable nature, he would definitely do this. However, when the news spread, they were stunned. A month later, they would decide who was stronger. This didn't seem like Permethaw's style. The Empress and the others hadn't left. When they heard this, they said, "You're underestimating Permethaw. Permethaw is now the overlord of the universe. Do you think it's possible for them to survive until now just because they're despicable?" They also had geniuses, unparalleled geniuses. Their arrogance wasn't inferior to anyone else's. The people of the deity realm were also silent. A month later, the pinnacle battle would be held. When the others heard the news, they were also excited. They definitely wouldn't miss this pinnacle battle. On the other side, Yi Wudao also frowned when he heard this. A month, he was really confident. He wondered if Brother Lin would be able to withstand his opponent's saber techniques in a month's time. He had fought with Dao Qin before, and naturally knew how terrifying his opponent was. Dao Qin had seriously injured him with 3 saber moves. He even felt that it wasn't impossible for Dao Qin to kill him. This was because Dao Qin had been too relaxed when he had swung his saber. A month's time passed very quickly. On this day, everyone was in an uproar. Where would the battle be held? Everyone was discussing spiritedly. Until now, they still didn't know the location of the battle. One had to know that, during the previous battle with Gue Qinya, they had already gone to the Red Lotus Star Ocean. Lin Xian had also come out of seclusion a day earlier. After coming out, he had already recovered to his peak. His blood, qi, and soul were all at their strongest. "I won't lose this battle. Of course, we believe in you," the Crimson Dragon said. The Toad asked, "But where is the battlefield?" He didn't say. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the sky, his gaze piercing through the universe. He said in a deep voice, "The entire universe is a battlefield. You just have to wait and see tomorrow." Everyone was curious. How would the final battle be fought? Lin Xian also didn't leave the Hidden Emperor Star. He was still in the Divine Union, waiting silently. The next day, when the sun had just risen, Lin Xian made his move. He stepped into the air and arrived above the 9 heavens. Then he roared at the sky. The divine flame seed, an immortal chi seed pulsed, forming a power that pierced through heaven and earth. At this moment, the changes in the wind and clouds were extremely terrifying. Everyone felt a surge of fear and a vast pressure engulfing them. Was he going to confirm his Tao? The people of the Hidden Emperor Star were shocked. Everyone in the universe also felt this power. They saw that there seemed to be lightning condensing in the sky. At the same time, they also felt that on the other side of the universe, there was also an extremely strong power erupting. It also attracted lightning that filled the sky. The Second Tao Verifier. Chapter 6133. Two heaven-shaking powers appeared in the universe, shaking the heavens and realms. Someone exclaimed, "Could it be that the final battle has begun?" That's right, one was Lin Xian's and the other was Dao Chen's. How were the two of them going to fight? Everyone was extremely confused. However, Lin Xian and Dao Chen did not care. They did not chase after each other at all. Instead, they released their strongest power in their respective worlds. They did not need to do anything. The heavenly Tao would let them fight. As expected, Lin Xian's immortal qi and the power of the divine fire seed flew into the distance. On the other side, Dao Chen's immortal qi seed also flew out, turning into peerless sabers that flew into the distance. In the universe, the two forces collided, and a destructive aura exploded. Kill! Dao Chen suddenly roared into the sky, and a cold saber shadow burst out from his eyes. His saber skills were absolutely heaven-defying. It was enough to destroy everything. I have a saber that can kill gods. The saber light on his body lit up the surroundings. The void kept shattering. He was like the ruler of the saber, standing between the heavens and earth. Even the sky was shattered. Boundless lightning filled the air continuously. Was he going to prove his Tao? Countless people exclaimed when they saw this scene. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. In the next moment, monstrous sword qi also rushed out from his body. I have a sword that is invincible throughout history. At this moment, Lin Xian's aura was extremely terrifying. The immortal qi seed and the divine fire seed pulsed together, wanting to break through. Moreover, terrifying lightning suddenly burst out in the sky above him, and a terrifying and destructive aura suddenly burst out. It was as if the world was going to be torn apart. Lin Xian soared into the sky and charged into the universe. He did not prove his Tao on the hidden Emperor star. This was because he knew that the upcoming battle would probably affect everything. The others were watching from afar. At this moment, no one dared to get close. Some of the emperors were stunned when they saw the two auras on Lin Xian's body at the same time. Was he going to walk the divine Tao and the immortal Tao at the same time? This was impossible. He would fail. This time, Dao Chen was definitely going to win. Dao Chen also walked over from afar. Under the guidance of the heavens, he met up with Lin Xian very soon. As the two faced each other, saber lights and sword images continuously erupted from their bodies. Dao Chen looked at him and said, "I didn't expect you to be so ambitious. You want to walk the path of immortals. However, you are destined to fail. Kneel in front of me now, and I will spare your life. Otherwise, you'll die the same way the Battle Emperor died back then. You'll be killed by my blade." What an arrogant tone. Did he really think that he was an immortal? You are merely a mere quasi-emperor. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Also, why can't I do what our predecessors couldn't? You don't even have the thought of surpassing the ancients. You will never be invincible. Boasting shamelessly, Dao Chen attacked. With a wave of his hand, a saber light broke through the 10,000 swords and slashed forward. Lin Xian laughed. "You think I'm afraid of you?" The sword qi on his body continued to erupt, turning into a shocking divine dragon that swept out in all directions. A sword slashed across the sky. The sword qi and the saber light collided again. The void shattered and countless black dragons erupted. Then, the two each took a step back. So strong. Dao Chen was really too powerful. He was even more terrifying than Gui Qinya. Although Gui Qinya also had the strength to kill a great emperor, Lin Xian knew that he would definitely win when he saw him. But now, when he saw Dao Chen, he couldn't tell what his chances of winning were. This was something that had never happened before. One could imagine how terrifying Dao Chen was. Interesting. I once killed a great emperor with 3 slashes and seriously injured Yi Wudao with 3 slashes. I wonder how many slashes you can take. Just now was the first slash. Now it's the second. After saying that, he waved his hand and slashed out again. The shocking saber light shook between heaven and earth. The great Tao on Lin Xian's body rumbled. He also slashed out with divine fire to fight against the saber light. At the same time, he struck out with immortal qi. The sky collapsed, and the rumbling sound was endless. Immortal qi and divine fire appeared on Lin Xian's left and right hands. His hands danced. It was biting cold. Where's your third slash? Come on out. You can't kill me. Even 300 slashes, you're not my match. Boom. The third slash was like an immortal king sweeping out in all directions. Dao Chen also roared angrily. This slash was like 9 thunderbolts. After this slash, he didn't attack again. Instead, his face darkened. You're different from others. You're even stronger than a great emperor. Lin Xian snorted coldly. It's good that you know. Why? Are you desperate? Dao Chen shook his head. It's rare to find an opponent like you. I originally thought that as the son of an immortal, I could look down on all the worlds, and no one would be my match. But I didn't expect the heavens to treat me so well and give me such an interesting opponent. You're worthy of my full strength. Buzz. After saying that, he waved his hand and took out a long saber. This time, it was no longer a saber light, but a real weapon. The long saber was biting cold and emitted endless power. What a terrifying weapon. When the great emperors in the distance felt this scene, they frowned tightly. Even the empress, the iron-blood great emperor, and the others gasped in shock. This thing was not ordinary. Murong Qingqing asked Senior, is it very powerful? Is it an extreme weapon? The Crimson Dragon also muttered. However, the Empress said, it's beyond an extreme weapon. It should be made for him by the Saber Immortal. As for the metal, it should be the immortal iron of the Eternal Land. After the Crimson Dragon and the others heard this, they were extremely envious. Immortal iron was beyond an extreme weapon. As expected, when the saber appeared, the weapons of the martial monarch clans shuddered violently. They frantically tried to block it, and the weapons of all the worlds prostrated themselves on the ground. They were no match for it at all. Dao Chen held the long saber and said coldly, this saber is called the Sky Saber. This saber is stained with the blood of supreme masters. You should be proud that you were killed by this saber. Any last words? Stay here. What a powerful saber. Lin Xian also frowned. He had seen the saber mark on Yi Wudao's body before. It was very terrifying. But the mark was caused by the previous saber light, not the Sky Saber. It seemed that when the other party fought Yi Wudao, he didn't use his full strength at all. He didn't even take out his weapon. Humph! So what if the saber is an immortal artifact? Lin Xian snorted coldly. In the next moment, he took out the immortal slaying sword. This sword has killed immortals before. I'm giving you a lot of face by using it to deal with you. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. He waved the long sword, and boundless killing intent erupted. Everyone in the universe was frightened again. The great emperors went crazy. Lin Xian's sword had killed immortals before. Was it a divine artifact? The people from the other world, Heavenly King's side, also frowned. The Bailey Great Emperor frowned and said, could it be the immortal slaying sword? The other great emperors also snorted coldly. No matter how strong the immortal slaying sword was, it was still made of divine iron. The Sky Saber was also made of immortal iron. It wasn't inferior to the other party. That's right. Another old man said, this battle still depends on the true strength of both sides. Chapter 6134. It was the first strike of the 7 immortal blades. With a roar, Dao Chen attacked. The Sky Saber slashed forward. The huge saber light was crystal clear like a crystal. The entire sky seemed to have shattered. This strike was extremely terrifying, far surpassing all the previous saber lights. The people on the other side also gasped. Was he going to use his ultimate move to determine the winner? The 7 immortal blades were a super immortal technique. It seemed like he was going to end the battle quickly. Humph! In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Heaven-trampling, immortal slaying. He took a step forward and shattered the starry sky under his feet. Then, the immortal slaying sword slashed out fiercely. At this moment, Lin Xian merged the power of the divine fire and the immortal qi into the immortal slaying sword at the same time. What he wanted to do was not only to defeat his opponent, but also to merge the 2 powers at the same time. His Tao was more than 10 times more difficult than his opponent's. Boom! The 2 powers exploded together, causing the power of this strike to be extremely terrifying. He blocked his opponent's first strike. There was a loud explosion, and countless stars around him turned into ashes. Lin Xian said coldly, "Is that all you have?" Dao Chen snorted. Second strike. The saber qi on his body became even more terrifying. The immortal qi seed between his eyebrows trembled violently, as if it was going to break out of the ground. There was another strike. The second strike was launched. Lin Xian was still waving his sword, and the power of the divine fire and immortal qi erupted. Although it was terrifying, Lin Xian was not satisfied, because the 2 powers were clearly separated. After blocking his opponent's second strike, Lin Xian attacked again. This time, he took the initiative to attack. He slashed the sky with his sword. Not only did sword qi appear on his body, but a Tai Chi diagram also appeared. The Tai Chi diagram merged with yin and yang as it spun continuously. Lin Xian roared into the sky. He wanted to forcefully merge with it. With a crack, he spat out a mouthful of blood, and a crack appeared on his body. The forceful merging had injured him. What was going on? Was Lin Xian injured? Countless people were stunned when they saw this scene. Those great emperors also frowned. It was impossible for him to forcefully merge the power of the divine fire and immortal qi. The people from the other side sneered. "I think we don't even need to do anything. He will definitely die." On the other side, the Empress also raised her head to look at the sky. The next moment, she sighed. Was he going to use those 2 pagodas? However, Lin Xian hadn't said anything yet. "Let's wait a little longer." "Idiot, take my third stab." Dao Chen harumphed coldly. He did not believe that the other party would succeed. There was indifference in his eyes, but his power was becoming more and more terrifying. This slash should be able to kill a great emperor easily. As expected, those martial monarchs were trembling in fear. After Lin Xian vomited blood, he didn't care at all. He slashed out with his sword again. The power of Tai Chi appeared on the long sword, forming a Tai Chi diagram. It carried the aura of divine fire and immortal qi as it spun between heaven and earth. With a clang, their weapons collided, shattering everything in their path. The ears of the martial monarchs buzzed. Everyone felt as if they were looking at a legend. This battle was too terrifying. The fourth slash, the god-slaying saber. Dao Chen was also furious. These 3 slashes could kill several great emperors, but he still couldn't kill the other party. He took out the sky saber and used a peerless saber technique. How could he allow himself to be defeated? Therefore, the 4th slash, he had to kill the other party. Under this slash, countless lives were destroyed. Why? Those lives screamed. They didn't offend the other party, right? Why did the other party want to kill them? However, no one answered. Some great emperors frowned. Do you know why the divine realm fought against the otherworld heavenly king? Because the otherworld heavenly king was too ruthless. Not only did they want to be the overlord, but they also wanted to enslave the other party. The otherworld heavenly king had never treated others as humans. In their eyes, the other worlds were ants that could be killed at any time when necessary. As expected, When the god-slaying saber was used, billions of lives were destroyed. The power of these people after they died was integrated into the saber light. This caused the saber strike to be extremely terrifying. It's your honor to be integrated into the life saber. Dao Chun did not care about this at all, as he said coldly. These words caused everyone to be shocked. Lin Xian was also furious. It was too ruthless. A sword like a dragon. He activated the power of the dragon sword soul. The sword transformed into a dragon. The world was shocked when the sword was used. This sword was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. The dragon-shaped sword, Qi, seemed to fill the entire universe. Everyone could see the shadow of a dragon rushing out in front of them. Roar, roar, roar. Their fourth slash collided. Then heaven and earth shattered, and more stars were turned into ashes. Damn it, Dao Chun retreated. His arm was numb. The power of the dragon sword was indeed terrifying. Together with the god-slaying sword, it was really powerful. He had integrated billions of lives, but he still couldn't kill the other party. Damn it, it still wasn't enough. All the worlds in the universe deserve to die and become my power. A hint of madness appeared in his eyes. God-slaying saber. He was ready to use the fifth slash. At this moment, those from the other world, Heavenly King frowned. Was the fifth slash going to be used? It was a little too forced. The Heavenly Seven Slashes was an extremely terrifying immortal technique. No matter how powerful Dao Chun was, he wasn't a great emperor. It was already extremely terrifying to be able to use 4 slashes, especially the fourth slash, which was extremely powerful. Even a great emperor, with a wisp of immortal energy, couldn't withstand it. But now, the other party was going to use the fifth slash. This was something that had never happened before. Let him do it. The virtual immortal walked over and said in a deep voice. The surrounding people bowed. Greetings, Senior. The virtual immortal said, this battle is no small matter. He is the son of an immortal. It won't be a problem for him to break through. I think we have to end the battle quickly. That kid still wants to forcefully integrate with the power of an immortal. I don't know what he's relying on. The people from the other world, Heavenly King, also frowned because they could see that Lin Xian was in a very bad state. Although he blocked the god-slaying saber, Lin Xian's body had a second crack. It was a crack that was torn apart by the power of an immortal. Was the other party going to continue? If he continued, he would die. Couldn't he? Lin Xian also took a deep breath. With his own strength, even if he used the Tai Chi diagram, he couldn't completely integrate. It seemed that he could only choose one of the two powers. It seemed that he could only rely on other treasures. Lin Xian looked into the distance and said through voice transmission, Senior, use the 2 pagodas. The Empress nodded after hearing that. Then she waved her hand. 2 rays of light flew out. Heaven and earth split open, and a terrifying aura swept in all directions. When they sensed this scene, the people from the other world, Heavenly King, were stunned. Dao Chun also retreated frantically. What was that? He felt a chill down his spine. Everyone was shocked. Was someone going to forcefully attack? However, when they saw the 2 black figures descending from the sky, they were stunned. They were all stunned. What was that? Chapter 61:35. 2 black shadows descended from the sky. The aura they emitted made everyone's hair stand on end. They looked up and were extremely shocked. What were those? They realized that the 2 black shadows were 2 pagodas. The aura on them was extremely terrifying. One was emitting a mysterious yellow aura, while the other was emitting an exquisite light. No one knew what the pagodas were. They only knew that they were terrifying. However, the people on the other side were shocked. The virtual immortal's pupils constricted. He exclaimed, the black-yellow pagoda and the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda. To think that these two things would appear as well. Moreover, they were both in the hands of the deity realm. Damn it, what was going on? The other great emperors on the other side also frowned and said, "These are two legendary things." The virtual immortal frowned even more. Back then, when he was attacking Shangqing City, he had sensed a mysterious message from it. Now, it seemed that it was the black-yellow pagoda. However, where did the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda come from? The situation was not good. No wonder Lin Xian dared to walk the path of an immortal. With the 2 pagodas, his chances of success were probably higher. However, it was only a little higher. He did not even have a 50% chance of success. Thinking of this, he sent a voice transmission to Dao Chen, telling him to hurry up and not give the other party any more chances. Dao Chen's expression also became extremely ugly. Hearing the voice transmission, he shouted coldly, "Go to hell." He held the sky saber in his hand and charged forward. The sky collapsed, and the rumbling sound shook the sky. At the same time, he invoked the thunder of the sky. He wanted to prove his Tao. He would not give the other party a chance. On the other side, Lin Xian waved the immortal slaying sword. He did not dodge at all. Above his head, the 2 pagodas descended. At the same time, Lin Xian opened the Tai Chi diagram. It spun and absorbed the power of the 2 pagodas. It surrounded his body. Tao proving, Lin Xian also roared. Suddenly, the divine fire seed, an immortal chi seed, exploded. The lightning in the sky instantly descended. In an instant, the front turned into a sea of lightning. Retreat quickly. At this moment, everyone retreated. They did not dare to resist the thunder of Tao proving. Their thunderbolts were extremely terrifying. However, Lin Xian was even more terrifying. The 2 of them were actually attacking each other in the sea of lightning. At this moment, Lin Xian did not hold back at all. It was as if he had turned into a peerless sword god, sweeping through all directions. The great dragon sword spirit erupted and slashed at the sky saber. A sonorous sound rang out between heaven and earth as Lin Xian activated the 6 paths of reincarnation. The phantom of the reincarnation sword also slashed down, and the 2 fought fiercely. Boom, boom. The firmament blade kept shaking, and the radiance on it dimmed a little. Dao Chen kept retreating as well. His hands were covered in cracks. His bloodlines spread out in all directions. Damn it, bloodline saber. With a furious roar, those shattered blood vessels turned into a blood-colored long saber and ruthlessly slashed over, tearing apart Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body. Lin Xian's body also swayed. However, a hint of viciousness appeared in his eyes. A slap landed on Dao Chen's face. Dao Chen was hit so hard that he almost fell to the ground. His face was a mess of flesh and blood. "You're courting death." The 2 of them fought in close combat, using all sorts of laws, mystiques, supreme skills, and killing moves. The great emperors who were watching from afar were terrified. Not only that, but when the lightning in the sky descended and struck their bodies, a large number of cracks appeared on their bodies. Let's see how long you can last. Half of Dao Chen's face was smashed, and many of his bones were broken. However, he did not care. With a wave of his hand, he took out an immortal pill and swallowed it. His originally weak blood chi instantly exploded. "I have an immortal pill. What do you have? You think you can compete with me? When you're exhausted, I'll kill you." Dao Chen sneered. Lin Xian did not have an immortal pill. He did have some pills, but for someone of his level to recover in an instant, it was impossible. The level of the pill would be extremely terrifying. However, although he did not have an immortal pill, he had the ancient land. From the ancient land, he mobilized the power. Lin Xian's depleted energy instantly recovered to its peak. This scene left Dao Chen dumbfounded. This was impossible. He did not believe that the other party also had an immortal pill. One had to know that although the deity realm had taken over a few ancient cities, their foundation was still much weaker than the Permitha. The Permitha had always been in the Eternal Land, and there were countless treasures there. Moreover, immortal pills could only be refined by Earth Immortals. The Earth Immortals of the deity realm had just recovered. How could they have the time to refine immortal pills? How did the other party recover? He did not understand. With a boom, he was sent flying by the sword and was almost split in half. His internal organs had all been obliterated. His body, which had just recovered, was once again severely injured. Damn it, he roared crazily. Lin Xian snorted. Even if you have an immortal pill, you can't recover in an instant. Let's see how you can destroy the power of the Dragon Sword Soul. With that, he attacked again. With the Immortal Slaying Sword and the Dragon Sword Soul, Lin Xian attacked with all his strength, forcing the other party to retreat. To be honest, Lin Xian was also surprised because the other party's recovery speed was much faster than ordinary great emperors. The other party's bloodline was really terrifying. However, it would still take some time for him to fully recover. However, in the next moment, Dao Chen roared, "Recover!" His shattered internal organs had actually recovered to their original state. Lin Xian was surprised. What was the power that destroyed the Dragon Sword Soul? Dao Chen let out a furious roar. It was as if he had turned into a peerless deity as he knocked Lin Xian back with a single slash. At the same time, he sneered. "Stupid thing. My father is a saber immortal, not an ordinary earth immortal. He has cultivated an immortal art. My father once taught me a recovery technique, which is also a secret technique of the immortal art. Although I haven't cultivated it to a high level, my recovery speed is far from ordinary great emperors. I want to see how you will die in the end." With that, he attacked. The two fought. In the blink of an eye, Lin Xian's body also split open. But soon, the power of the ancient land helped him recover. Then he attacked Dao Chen and forced him to retreat. With a sword, he split the other party into two. Dao Chen used the immortal art and the immortal pill to recover. The people in the distance were stunned. The other great emperors also gasped. "You can fight like this?" To be honest, even they would probably die, because whether it was the Dragon Sword Soul or the Sky Saber, they were both extremely terrifying things. The great emperors had immortal chi, but if their immortal chi was used up, they would also die. But these two guys seemed to be unkillable. Every time they were injured, they would recover instantly. Are we old? Are the young people now so terrifying? At this moment, the great emperors were doubting life. Chapter 6136. The battle ahead was still as terrifying as ever. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. What a powerful enemy. It had been so many years since he had met such a terrifying enemy. His opponent's recovery speed was on par with his. Moreover, he had mastered the power of some immortal arts. From what he heard, immortal arts were extremely mysterious and rare. Even an immortal might not have mastered them. How terrifying was the saber immortal? Shaking his head, Lin Xian knew that now was not the time to think about this. He had to deal with the guy in front of him first, another earth-shattering collision. Then Lin Xian retreated. He did not take the initiative to attack again. Dao Chen sneered. "What? Kid, are you afraid? I guess even if you have some natural treasures, they should have been used up by now, right?" "Humph," Lin Xian snorted. "You're thinking too much. I'm thinking about how to kill him in one strike." With that, he stretched out his hands. On his left hand, the immortal chi seed jumped, and on his right hand, the divine flame seed spread. Then, Lin Xian took out the great dragon sword spirit and summoned the phantom of the reincarnation sword. Kill. With both swords, Lin Xian was like a killing god at this moment. With a bang, Dao Chen was sent flying as if he had been struck by lightning. He vomited blood. This time, even his soul was severely injured. "Recover for me." He used his immortal arts to recover, but although he recovered, his speed was slower than before. Good chance. Lin Xian saw that his opponent had an immortal art. So what? So what if he had an immortal pill? How many did he have? One had to know that he had an ancient land. Even though the ancient land was still in the midst of recovering, its strength was definitely stronger than the other party. Therefore, Lin Xian attacked again, ignoring the injuries on his body. So what if he was injured? He would recover instantly. This time, Dao Chun was at a disadvantage. He was so angry that he attacked without any regard for his life. In the end, his body was cut into several pieces. Even his soul was cut open. The pain made him hover between life and death. This time, he retreated far away and only recovered after a while. The people on the other side of the river saw this scene and frowned. Not good. Dao Chen's strength was declining. If this continued, even if he did not die, it would be difficult for him to recover completely. After all, even if Dao Chen had a heaven-defying celestial art, he did not have endless power. There would always be a time when one's strength would run out. Great Emperor Bailey's face turned ugly. Damn it. How is this possible? What exactly did this kid have in his hands? Instant recovery? Even the son of immortals weren't as rich as him. How did he do it? Dao Chen's background was so terrifying that ordinary martial monarchs were nothing in his eyes. Dao Chen was confident that he could escape unscathed even if he had to fight against two super martial emperors with immortal chi. A super great emperor could instantly kill an ordinary great emperor. One could only imagine how terrifying Dao Chen was. But now his opponent was actually being suppressed. He could not wait any longer. Great Emperor Bailey said, "Virtual Immortal Lord, shall we attack?" The virtual immortal nodded. He didn't dare to wait any longer. He said, "Then let's do it. You guys attack first. I'm an Earth Immortal, so I can't attack casually. I'll attack at the critical moment." Yes, Great Emperor Bailey and the others nodded. Then they all took out a jade pendant and wore it on their bodies. There was a trace of lightning on the jade pendant. This was the power of the heavenly punishment sword. Under normal circumstances, even a great emperor would not dare to approach the lightning of Tao validation. This was because once they triggered their own lightning tribulation, they would be reduced to ashes. However, the Nirvana realm was different from others. They had the heavenly punishment sword. The Nirvana realm's master was known to control the heavenly Tao. Therefore, they could use the power of the heavenly punishment to dodge the power of the heavenly lightning. In fact, the virtual immortal was even prepared to use the power of the heavenly punishment to suppress Lin Xian. Boom. In the next moment, Great Emperor Bailey and the others moved. More than 10 figures. Among them, there were 5 great emperors. The rest were extremely terrifying quasi-emperors. They quickly charged over. The people who were watching the battle from afar were stunned. Heavens, someone is attacking. Impossible. Are they courting death? Anyone who entered the lightning of Tao validation would trigger their own lightning tribulation. They would most likely die. Did they not want to live anymore? To be honest, the people around them were not afraid of a sneak attack at all. In their opinion, no one could interfere in the battle of Tao validation. However, someone was trying to assassinate Lin Xian. Moreover, their target was Lin Wudi. Were they from the Nirvana realm? However, the Nirvana realm could not be so heaven-defying. When these people entered the lightning of Tao validation, the lightning roared in the sky. However, it did not attack them. This made the myriad worlds in the heavens dumbfounded. Impossible! How did they avoid the lightning tribulation? Could it be that the Nirvana realm was so heaven-defying? They were all crazy. Not good. The people from the Divine Union were even more shocked. Even the people from the Yi family and the Gu family narrowed their eyes. They actually did it. Damn it. Shui Qi, Murong Qingcheng, and the others immediately rushed over. However, They were stopped by the Empress. You can't go. If you go, you will trigger the lightning tribulation. But why are they fine? Xueqi asked. She was really anxious. The Empress said that they had the power of the heavenly punishment. The heavenly punishment controlled all kinds of power. The heavenly lightning was a kind of power. Naturally, they could control it. Could it be that they could just watch as their husband was killed? No, they couldn't. The Empress shook her head. We are also prepared. After saying that, she looked up at the sky. A black vortex appeared in the sky. Lord Alcohol came out and said in a deep voice, "Let's go." After saying that, he waved his hand, and a few black stones appeared. The Iron Blood Great Emperor and the others grabbed the black stones and carried them with them. Then, they quickly rushed out. They also charged toward the lightning of Tao validation. No way, right? Everyone in the universe was also dumbfounded. The people from the Divine Union could also avoid the lightning of Tao validation? What kind of joke was this? Who could do that in thousands of years? However, when the Iron Blood Great Emperor and the others entered, everyone was shocked. They realized that they were really fine. These people had also successfully avoided the lightning tribulation. When she saw this scene, Xueqi said, "Senior, do you still have those stones? Give me one." "I will go too." Xiajiu also stepped forward. Previously, when he had validated his Tao, Lin Xian had desperately helped him. Now that Lin Xian was in trouble, how could he shrink back? Lord Alcohol nodded and threw 2 more stones to the 2 of them. After the 2 of them picked up the stones, they quickly rushed forward. Morong Qingcheng and Yan Ruyu also wanted to go, but they were stopped. The Empress said, "The 2 of you are still boundary emperors. If you go, you won't be able to do much." Boom. The lightning of Tao validation was extremely terrifying. It could destroy everything in the world. Originally, only Lin Xian and Dao Chen were there. However, in an instant, many people rushed over. On Lin Xian's side, more than 10 figures rushed over. Among them, there were 5 great emperors. The terrifying power and the vast world made Lin Xian's hair stand on end. In an instant, he was severely injured. As if he had been struck by lightning, he retreated. "Go to hell," the Bailey Great Emperor and the others released cold, killing intent. Chapter 60, 137. Lin Xian was also surprised by the sudden attack of these people. He had guessed that these people would attack. However, it should be after he had verified his Tao. After all, they should not dare to go against the lightning tribulation. However, he did not expect these people to be able to ignore the lightning tribulation. Was it because of the heavenly punishment sword? Lin Xian guessed. However, he did not have time to think about it. He roared angrily and began to counterattack. His figure kept dodging. At the same time, the immortal slaying sword in his hand flew out continuously, and a destructive force erupted. With a swing of the sword, a boundary emperor was split into 2. His body and soul were destroyed, and blood rained down. Great Emperor Bailey roared, and the boundary emperors retreated from his attack range. Immediately, those figures retreated quickly. Only the 5 great emperors were left to fight Lin Xian in close combat. The 5 of them used their killing moves as soon as they attacked. They wanted to kill Lin Xian in the shortest time possible. Lin Xian had indeed encountered the greatest danger. Not only did he have to face the attacks of these people, but he also had to face the lightning tribulation. However, at this moment, a roar could be heard from afar. "Damn it, get out of here." It was Dao Chen's voice. Hearing this voice, Great Emperor Bailey and the others were shocked. Oh no, could it be? They turned their heads and saw that Dao Chen was surrounded by a few great emperors. He was covered in blood and was in a terrible state. How could this be? Great Emperor Bailey and the others were stunned. They could enter because of the heavenly punishment sword. How did these people from the deity domain enter? How did these people ignore the lightning tribulation? The iron blood great emperor roared and smashed the hammer in his hand. One of Dao Chen's arms was smashed out of shape. Dao Chun was in pain and quickly retreated to recover. However, at this moment, another great emperor charged over. He was in great danger. "Come and help me!" he roared crazily. "Damn it!" Great Emperor Bailey clenched his teeth and led the other great emperors back to help. A great battle broke out in an instant. The sky was filled with divine flames and immortal qi. The lightning tribulation continued to fall. On Lin Xian's side, the pressure was greatly reduced. He slashed out with his sword and penetrated one of Great Emperor Baiyu's wings. Countless feathers fell from the sky. Martial Monarch Baiyu backed off, frantically with an unpleasant expression. "Kill!" they roared angrily. In the distance, when the virtual immortal saw this, he said in a deep voice, "You guys attack too." Two more figures walked out from the crowd. These two figures had two strands of immortal qi. They were super emperors. One of them was called UTI. The other was the Thousand Mountain Great Emperor. When the two of them heard the order, their figures flashed, and they also quickly descended. As soon as they appeared, they burst forth with extremely terrifying power. The Iron Blood Martial Monarch and the others felt chills running down their spines. They could only retreat rapidly. However, at this moment, on the side of the deity realm, the Empress also came out. She was also a super great emperor. She charged towards Thousand Mountain Great Emperor. The Thousand Mountain Great Emperor was huge and powerful. Each of his attacks could tear the sky apart. However, her Lady Empress was similarly incomparably powerful. The two of them engaged in a great battle and were evenly matched. UTI sneered. His body was pitch black, like thick ink. A pair of claws slashed towards Lin Xian. Die. Lin Xian quickly retreated, not resisting. At this moment, a roar came from afar. Immediately after, a fearless lion tore through the void and rushed over, blocking the black claws. "Who is it?" UTI roared. Lin Xian was also stunned. Could this fearless lion be him? He turned his head and saw golden light sprinkling down from the sky. A man with a powerful aura of blood and qi walked over. The Golden Lion King. UTI gritted his teeth. "You're not dead yet." The Golden Lion King snorted coldly. "It's not that easy to kill me." As he spoke, he punched out. Another fearless lion roared between heaven and earth. When the others saw this, they were shocked. What a powerful aura. What a domineering fist. Was this person the legendary Golden Lion King? Lin Xian was also shocked. How could he not know this person? Previously, he had been to the Golden Lion Palace of the Heavenly Court. Back then, there was a mysterious man lying in the golden coffin inside. It was this Golden Lion King. Unexpectedly, not only was the other party not dead, but he was also a super great emperor. It seemed that some of the experts of the Heavenly Court had also recovered. Back then, the Heavenly Court had nurtured top assassins. There was another use, which was to give super experts a place to rest and recuperate. With the addition of the Golden Lion King, the battle became even more terrifying. Even super great emperors had appeared. The entire void was completely shattered, and the endless starlight dimmed. No one knew what the result would be. The other emperor clans also frowned. They knew that the Earth Immortals would definitely make a move. However, it should not be now. It should be at the most critical moment. Without Lin Xian and the threat of super great emperors, he began to break through with all his might. The aura of the two pagodas above his head made his body bloom with a mysterious light. He began to fuse the immortal energy and the divine fire seed. With a boom, endless lightning seemed to erupt from Lin Xian's body. His blood and qi churned. He spat out a mouthful of blood. However, gradually, the divine fire seed and the immortal energy seed began to fuse. A super powerful immortal energy erupted from his body. Not good. He was actually going to fuse. Dao Chun roared crazily. Damn it, stop him. Now he was also anxious. He quickly activated the immortal energy seed, wanting to attract the heavenly lightning and break through first. However, he was very uncomfortable from the beating. The divine fire around him made his hair stand on end. The 1,000-mountain great emperor snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, countless mountains appeared in the sky. The entire world darkened. It was very oppressive. Large cracks spread out for tens of millions of miles. The people in the distance retreated again. The entire star field in front of them had completely turned into a battlefield. You dare to be distracted when fighting with me? I have to say, you are really courting death. The Empress snorted coldly. She activated the Rui in her hand. A mysterious and cold aura burst out and collided with the 1,000-mountain Great Emperor's body. The 1,000-mountain Great Emperor's shoulder instantly split open. He retreated and grunted, "Damn woman!" Once again, he roared and charged over. Facing the attack of 1,000 mountains, Lin Xian did not dare to be careless at all. As he retreated, he dodged the most fatal threat. At the same time, he waved the immortal slaying sword. With a few slashes of his sword, cracks appeared on the mountain peaks, causing countless rocks to roll down. Fuse. He roared angrily again. The divine fire seed and immortal energy seed fused again. This time, he actually slashed out a very terrifying sword. It split a mountain into two halves. One had to know that although Lin Xian was strong and could fight and even kill a great emperor, he was only an ordinary great emperor. However, he was only an ordinary great emperor. He was no match for a super great emperor. But now he could actually split a super powerful attack. Could it be because of the power of an immortal? Damn it! Seeing this scene, the virtual immortal could not help but take a step forward. The power of an earth immortal erupted. Then a peerless divine sword appeared in his eyes. It pierced through heaven and earth and charged toward Lin Xian. Chapter 6138. Before the sword arrived, Lin Xian felt as if his entire body was about to split apart. Damn it, he was so powerful. Lin Xian's expression was ugly. Land immortals were really too terrifying. However, this made him even more determined to fuse with them. Xian, don't worry, I'm coming. An angry roar sounded between heaven and earth. Then, a fist appeared. With a soaring battle intent, it charged towards the sword energy. Then, the two exploded. Lin Xian retreated. A tall figure descended. It was Lin Zhan. He said, "Continue to break through. No one can hurt you today." Lin Xian nodded. Even his father had made a move. "Just you?" Humph. The virtual immortal looked at Lin Zhan with disdain. He was filled with killing intent. This guy was just a great emperor before. He was just an ant. After saying that, he rushed out with his sword again. Go to hell. This was not Upper Azure City. Previously, when they were in Upper Azure City, the two of them had fought before. The other party could resist her. However, the other party had mobilized the power of Upper Azure City. Otherwise, he would have killed the other party with one hand. This time, how much of Upper Azure City's power could be mobilized across the endless void? A shocking sword light flew out from the palm of the virtual immortal. They tore apart the universe and cut open the sky. They attacked Lin Zhan. Lin Zhan snorted coldly. "I don't need to borrow the power of Upper Azure City. I can kill you." After saying that, he punched out. His fist seemed to have transformed into a battle dragon. It was incomparably huge. It carried a monstrous aura as it swooped down. With a loud boom, The sword chi was actually blocked. The virtual immortal frowned. You broke through to become a land immortal? That's right. Lin Zhan took a step forward. I just broke through not long ago. I can use you to test my combat strength. Stupid thing. You are courting death. The virtual immortal was completely furious. So what if you broke through? You only broke through a few years ago, right? Let me tell you, there are strong and weak land immortals. The virtual immortal roared and quickly rushed over, flying forward as well. The two of them clashed in an instant. Not long after, Lin Zhan was sent flying by the sword. A crack appeared on his body, and many of his bones were broken. The virtual immortal laughed out loud. You're still not good enough. However, Lin Zhan didn't say anything. He roared again. He rushed over again. Lin Xian's eyes turned red when he saw this. However, he didn't say anything. Instead, he gritted his teeth and fused with all his might. Only when he succeeded in breaking through would the others be able to attack without any reservations. Boom! The two fused together a little more, shocking everyone. Could it be that it was really possible? The virtual immortal roared, "Attack those two pagodas. If you have the chance, send them flying." He could tell that the heaven-earth black-yellow pagoda and the seven treasures exquisite pagoda were able to merge with the force of the gods. As long as the pagoda was sent flying, the other party would definitely die. When the people of the other world heard this, they attacked madly. However, how could the people of the deity realm give him such a chance? They defended with all their might. The virtual immortal roared, "Supreme Palace, aren't you going to make a move? Are you just going to watch him break through like this? Don't forget, if he breaks through, you won't have a good time either." How could the people of the Supreme Palace not come to such an earth-shattering battle? Netherworld sovereign, and the others gritted their teeth. Last time, Lin Xian had killed quite a few people from the Paragon Hall. Even Gui Qinya had died. They had to take revenge. And this was the best opportunity. They quickly rushed over. Not good. The expressions of the people watching the battle from afar changed drastically. Originally, the two sides were evenly matched. However, if the Supreme Palace joined in, the situation would not be good. "Big brother, don't worry. We'll help you." At this moment, another group of people flew over from afar. These people had an extremely cold aura, which surprised countless people. Could it be that they were from the Netherworld? That's right, the people who came were from the Netherworld. The one at the front was actually a child. It was Bu Tian. Behind Bu Tian were the Netherworld beasts and the people of the Tao Tai clan. Among them, there were several Thearchs. After they came out, they charged toward the Supreme Palace. "D***, are you crazy?" Netherworld sovereign roared over there. "Why are you from the Netherworld interfering in this matter?" The Netherworld beast sneered. "None of your business." The Tao Tai clan said, "Lin Gongzi is our benefactor. Naturally, we have to help." The two sides fought again. Bu Tian also came. He did not join the battle because he was not qualified to do so with his strength. However, this time, he carried something with him. It was a bell. It was very big and was engraved with Tao patterns. Even Bu Tian found it difficult to carry it. However, his little face was tense, and he did not let go. The others were stunned. Why did this guy bring a bell? Even Xia Xingchen was surprised. Here, Bu Tian flew over to the Divine Union, the Crimson Dragon, and the Toad said, "Child, why are you carrying it?" Bu Tian said, "I'm here to help Big Brother. This thing was left behind by my grandfather." "Your grandfather?" The Toad was puzzled. "Who is your grandfather? Is it the Great Emperor?" However, the Crimson Dragon frowned. "Wait, why do the Tao patterns on this bell feel so familiar? Could it be that you are?" "My grandfather is a celestial master." After Bu Tian finished speaking, he began to move. He prepared to form a seal with his small hands, and a mysterious power of heaven and earth appeared one after another. The toad was shocked. It was so magical. The crimson dragon exclaimed, "Are you from the celestial master lineage?" One had to know that he was currently cultivating the celestial master lineage. He had naturally heard of the other party. However, hadn't the celestial master lineage disappeared for a long time? He did not expect it to be in the netherworld. Butian did not say much. He activated the bell. Instantly, countless great daos intertwined on the bell. Everyone could feel their souls shaking. Of course, this was not an injury, but a strange feeling. Some elders were stunned. Why did I feel that my soul had been sublimated? Heavens, what kind of treasure was that? The people from the divine union were also shocked. The savage wilderness ancestor, and the others also felt this strange feeling. The people from the emperor race were also shocked. Zhongling Xiu Yi Wudao, and the others' eyes were red. What was that? The crimson dragon roared. Could this be the legendary Dao harmonization bell? What was the Dao harmonization bell? No one knew. However, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. This was because he felt that the fusion of the divine flame seed and the immortal chi seed had sped up. Moreover, it seemed to be more stable. Damn it, the celestial master lineage was courting death. The virtual immortal in the distance roared. At the same time, he secretly transmitted his voice. In the sky, a huge black shadow appeared. Then, a claw slammed directly toward Butian and the others. At this moment, the people from the divine union went crazy. They felt their bodies split open, and their souls were about to be extinguished. Someone was attacking them. Moreover, it was an earth immortal. F*CK, shameless. The toad roared instantly. However, just as he opened his mouth, he spat out a large mouthful of blood. Chapter 6139. It wasn't just the toad. The people from the divine union were also attacked. They thought that they were dead meat. However, at that moment, a black vortex appeared above their heads and blocked the claw. At the same time, an angry voice was heard. "Are you courting death?" Lord Alcohol had also made his move. To be honest, he had been on guard against the other party's Earth Immortal. However, he had never expected that this Earth Immortal would attack the people from the Divine Union instead of attacking Lin Xian. These people from the Divine Union weren't even Thearchs. Under normal circumstances, Earth Immortals wouldn't attack such people. However, Higgin had done it. Lord Alcohol's eyes were filled with killing intent as he waved his sleeves. The devouring universe's power surged down. The cracked bodies of the Divine Union's toad and the others quickly recovered. Then they recovered. Lord Alcohol charged forward. The toad and the others were terrified. It was too terrifying. They had almost died just now. Was this the ability of an Earth Immortal? He could kill them with one move and save them with one move. The savage wilderness ancestor and the others were envious. The Earth Immortal who had attacked was none other than Master Rashi. At that moment, he was being chased by Lord Alcohol. When the terrifying devouring sword hit him, his huge body shook violently. Damn it, Master Rashi was enraged, and the two of them started fighting. However, Lord Alcohol had recovered quite a bit this time. Coupled with the devouring sword, he was extremely terrifying. More importantly, Lord Alcohol had really developed killing intent. He was chasing the big turtle all over the world. Even the Earth Immortals had made their move. Moreover, there were 4 of them fighting in the sky. Countless people were shocked. Was this a battle of the gods? It was too terrifying. Buzz. At that moment, another Earth Immortal's aura erupted in the distance. Boundless death energy filled the air. It was the Grim Reaper. Everyone's hair stood on end. The people from the Divine Union and the Heavenly Court were shocked. Was the Grim Reaper going to join the battle? However, even further away, a beam of moonlight shot into the sky, and turned into the moon goddess blade. A cold voice was heard. "Try it." The one who spoke was the moon goddess. However, she didn't appear, and neither did the Grim Reaper. However, their auras pierced through the 9 heavens. Both sides were threatening and intimidating. Lin Xian could sense that his seed of divine flame and seed of immortal qi had merged significantly. However, the fusion had not been completed yet. At this time, he needed to find an opponent. He stared at Dao Chun and said, "Do you dare to fight me again? Just with our strength alone, without the help of others. Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Dao Chun quickly charged over. This time, his bloodline was fully unleashed, resulting in a boundless saber glow that shook the surroundings. The entire void was filled with saber light. It was the same on Lin Xian's side. His sword qi was vast and boundless. Boom, boom. It was an intense collision. Dao Chun spat out mouthfuls of blood, as if he had been struck by lightning. How could this be? His opponent's strength had become even stronger. The sword qi contained the power of the gods. Did he really merge the divine fire and immortal qi? Impossible. Dao Chun shook his head in disbelief. However, at this time, he was penetrated by a sword, and half of his body split open. "Ah!" Dao Chun screamed and quickly retreated. On the other hand, Lin Xian took a step forward, shattering the endless void. Then he held the immortal slaying sword with both hands and slashed viciously. Dao Chen's expression became extremely ugly at this time. He felt an unprecedented sense of danger. With a roar, he quickly burned his bloodline. Then his speed skyrocketed, and he dodged the sword. The place where he was originally standing was split into pieces. "It's useless. You can't escape." Lin Xian's Rinnegan looked at his opponent, and the phantom of the reincarnation sword instantly erupted. It was also the power of the gods. Although it had not been perfectly merged, it was much stronger than before. With a bang, Dao Chun looked like he had been struck by lightning, and his body was covered with cracks again. How could this be? His face was pale, and he could not believe it. Lin Xian was incomparably cold, the power of the gods. Since ancient times, no one had achieved it. Although I have only merged a little now, it is still not something you can resist. Lin Xian's eyes burst with an extremely cold light. He seemed to have turned into a peerless god, looking down at his opponent. At this moment, Dao Chen's soul shook, and he seemed to be hallucinating. The Lin Xian in front of him had become high and mighty, and he needed to look up to him. No, how could I have such thoughts? He shook his head frantically. Kill. I must kill him. Dao Chen seemed to have made some kind of decision. In the next moment, his glabella split open, and a mysterious saber light flew out and merged with the sky saber. Suddenly, the sky saber bloomed with an unparalleled brilliance. At this moment, the 9 heavens and 10 earths were shaking. Millions of starry skies were shattering. Even those great emperors and super great emperors felt their hair stand on end. As for the few earth immortals, their expressions changed. Damn it, this aura is... Before they could react, a saber light flashed in the sky. Then, it slashed fiercely towards Lin Xian. Crack! Golden saint blood dripped, and everyone was stunned. Husband, Murong Qingcheng, and the others felt like their hearts were about to split open. Lin Xian was seriously injured. How could Dao Chen have such strength? This was not Dao Chen's strength. Lin Zhan roared. Saber Immortal, can't you help but attack? If you have the ability, come at me. The others were also in an uproar. What? Is this the power of an Earth Immortal? Dao Chen actually borrowed the power of an Earth Immortal? Isn't this the battle of Dao validation? Does he think that he will definitely lose? Ha ha! Although Lin Xian was seriously injured, he was still laughing heartily. You actually borrowed the power of an Earth Immortal. You lost. You can't prove your Dao at all. Even if I can't prove my Dao, I will kill you. Dao Chen's eyes were red. He knew that he had failed this time. He had borrowed the power of his father. But so what? The person in front of him was too much of a threat. Compared to proving his Dao, he felt that killing the other party was more important, because in the future he would have plenty of opportunities to prove his Dao. Kill. Dao Chen spat out a mouthful of blood, staining the sky saber red. The sky saber contained the will of the saber immortal. At this moment, it seemed to have turned into an immortal weapon and attacked again. Lin Xian roared to the sky. The two halves of his body quickly merged. The heavenly spring of life in the ancient land gushed out, allowing him to recover quickly. In the next moment, he roared to the sky, dragon transformation. Dragon scales grew on his body. His entire body merged with the great dragon sword soul. Like an azure dragon, he appeared in the void. With a swing of his dragon tail, he dodged the saber. However, the sky saber was still chasing after him. It seemed that it would not stop until he was dead. It's over. If this continues, it will be dangerous. The people of the Yi family frowned. Should they make a move? But even if they had extreme weapons, would they not be able to defeat the other party? This was the will of an earth immortal. It would probably be able to kill them with one strike. Boom. At this moment, heaven and earth split open. The clouds churned. In the void, a huge iron rod flew over. It caused the entire universe to shake. Then this iron rod sent the sky saber flying. Countless people were horrified. What is this? Great. It's the sea-steadying divine needle. When Xue Qi saw this scene, she was overjoyed. This is the weapon of the war god. With the appearance of the sea-steadying divine needle, Lin Xian's crisis was resolved again. At the same time, the voice of the war god sounded. Little guy continued to merge. Let's see who dares to attack you. Lin Xian no longer dodged. Instead, he continued to merge the power of the divine fire and the immortal qi. However, in the endless void, the mysterious eternal power suddenly erupted with a piercing light. Then, a saber light seemed to have pierced through the universe and rushed over from afar. Chapter 60, 140. This attack was too powerful. Even Lin Zhan and the other land immortals felt their hair stand on end. However, the sea-calming divine needle stood between heaven and earth and withstood everything. It blocked this saber light. Then the aura of the fighting god also appeared. His fiery golden eyes also pierced through heaven and earth and looked into the distance. At this moment, the three sides of the battle stopped. They were shocked and bewildered. These two land immortals were too powerful. The people watching the battle from afar also sensed it. They seemed to be much stronger than the virtual immortal, Master Rashi, and the others. What was this? Were there strong and weak land immortals? They didn't know. However, the virtual immortal Lin Zhan and the others knew that these two people were the saber immortal and the fighting god. The two of them had cultivated immortal and divine arts. The auras of the two confronted each other. They didn't fight, but the atmosphere was abnormally terrifying. It was like the eve of a storm. Were they going to fight? The virtual immortal and Master Rashi were both excited. If the saber immortal made a move, he could definitely change everything. Moreover, the Supreme Palace should also join forces, right? However, to their disappointment, the saber immortal didn't make a move. It was merely an eruption of a shocking will, an aura. It seemed to be intimidating the divine realm. However, the fighting god wasn't weak either. His fiery golden eyes looked down on everything, and his aura didn't fall behind at all. Lin Xian continued to break through. The fighting god's voice sounded. Lin Xian didn't stop. He reached out his hands and directly grabbed the heaven-earth mystic yellow pagoda and the seven treasures exquisite pagoda in his hands. Finally, he roared at the sky. The power of the Taiji diagram, the power of the two pagodas, the power of the divine fire and immortal chi. At this moment, he completely erupted. The two seeds intertwined between his brows. Then, divine fire jumped on his body, and immortal chi danced in the air. Everyone watched nervously. Even the people from the other world, Heavenly King side, looked extremely ugly. Were they just going to watch? Great Emperor Bailey and the others gritted their teeth. They were unwilling. At this moment, their bodies were covered in wounds. Although they weren't fatal, it would take them a few years or even decades to recover. More importantly, did they fail this time? Dao Chen had failed. At this moment, Dao Chen was in an extremely miserable state. Even his confidence had been defeated by his opponent. This was a ruthless slap to their faces. Those from the deity realm were also injured. After all, they had been fighting Higan for tens of thousands of years. The other party was too powerful. At that moment, all of them were injured. However, they didn't care at all. While recovering from their injuries, they stared at Lin Xian. "Little guy, you must succeed." This was what everyone was thinking. However, the virtual immortal said, "Don't rush. Don't attack. I understand what the saber immortal means." It was not easy to fuse with the power of a deity. Since ancient times, there had been many geniuses who had failed. How did that guy succeed? There was an extremely high chance that he would fail. If he failed, he would die. At that time, we won't have to do anything. Dao Chen also said, "My father cultivates an immortal art. At critical moments, he can't casually make a move." In that case, they could only wait. The people from the other world, Heavenly King, did not make a move. On the other side, those from the Supreme Palace also retreated. Their expressions were also cold. Everyone's gaze fell on Lin Xian. At that moment, the power of a deity on Lin Xian's body was constantly intertwining and spreading. Then it gradually fused. Boom. All of a sudden, his body split apart into two halves. A large amount of golden sacred blood instantly scattered across the sky. What was going on? Those from the divine union were extremely anxious. Even Lin Zhan, Lord Alcohol, and the others were frowning. Those from the Higan immortal realm laughed heartily. "You failed. I knew it. How could you succeed?" Those from the Supreme Hall laughed as well. Everyone in the universe was in an uproar. However, Lin Xian gritted his teeth and roared. Again, an extremely strange light shone in his eyes. The power of the ancient land surged out. Once, twice, thrice. Lin Xian's body actually shattered 5 times. Had they all failed? Everyone was in despair. Xueqi said, "Husband, stop. Choose one of them." However, Lin Xian still did not give up. Finally, on the 9th time, he roared into the sky. The sky was filled with lightning and thunder directly descended. Lin Xian's aura actually fused together. Had he succeeded? Those from the deity plane were excited. Everyone in the universe was stunned as well. Those from the Supreme Palace roared. How was this possible? The Grim Reaper's voice sounded. Damn it, what other secrets did he have? How could he recover so quickly? If it had been anyone else, they would have definitely died after the first time. However, he had survived 9 times. This made the Earth immortals shocked and bewildered. Indeed, those from the Higan immortal realm were stunned. Even if he had taken an immortal pill, he could not be so powerful. What other secrets did this kid have? They did not know that the ancient land was Lin Xian's biggest secret. If he succeeded, he would be in danger. Not only could he go to the land of destiny, but more importantly, how powerful would he be after fusing with the power of the Earth immortals? If the divine union had such an expert, the future situation would be much more complicated. He would not succeed. At this moment, Dao Chen spoke. Everyone was stunned. Then they suddenly thought of something and turned their heads. At the same time, Those in the Eternal Land were also paying attention to this battle. When they saw Lin Xian's success, their eyes turned red. Damn it! At this moment, the heavenly punishment sword, which was standing in the depths of the Eternal Land, suddenly burst out with an extremely bright light. Then, it actually soared into the sky and slashed out a ray of light towards the void of the universe. At this moment, those from the hidden immortal realm all prostrated themselves on the ground. They were extremely excited. Had the heavenly punishment sword been used? Heavens, the heavenly punishment sword was one of the 5 swords of the world. Moreover, it was the only one of the 5 swords of the world that was complete. Its might was far from what the other broken artifacts could compare to. Once the heavenly punishment sword was used, it would destroy the world. Sure enough, everyone in the universe was in despair. At this moment, they saw an endless vision of heaven and earth. A storm struck, a sea of fire spread, the earth cracked, and the sky shattered. All kinds of natural powers of heaven and earth erupted. What was this? The end of the world? The destruction of the universe? They were all stunned. The Grim Reaper's pupils constricted. His hand of death enveloped the people from the Supreme Hall and brought them back quickly. At the same time, he exclaimed, "The power of the heavenly punishment. This is the true power of the heavenly punishment. It controls all the power of heaven and earth." It was not just the power of lightning. The power of the heavenly punishment sword was charging towards Lin Xian. Endless destructive power swept towards Lin Xian. Everyone was in despair. Lin Zhan, Lord Alcohol, the fighting god, and the others were all ready to attack. However, the moment they moved, those from the hidden immortal realm also moved. The virtual immortals and Turtle Hermit were not to be trifled with. The Grim Reaper was also ready to launch a sneak attack. The Saber Immortal, who was further away, also seemed to have the intention to attack. A slight move would affect the whole situation. Chapter 60, 141. The moment the heavenly punishment appeared, it shocked everyone. Everyone was dumbfounded. Even those earth immortals were facing a great enemy. It couldn't be helped. This was the complete heavenly punishment sword. Once it appeared, the universe would be destroyed. Was the Grand Supreme going to make a move? Lord Alcohol couldn't believe it. Would someone of that level make a move for someone who had just attained the Tao? Impossible, right? The battle god also snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, he grabbed the sea-steadying needle in his hand. At the same time, thousands of rays of light erupted from his body. He wanted to make a move. However, the Saber Immortal, who was far away on the other side, condensed an even more powerful saber will and stared at the battle god. "Kid, use your great dragon sword to block it." Lord Alcohol roared angrily. Then he struck out his devouring sword. The black sword chi pierced through the 9 heavens as if it wanted to swallow the world. At the same time, Lin Xian roared at the sky. He also struck out the great dragon sword soul. A dragon's shadow bared its fangs and brandished its claws, sweeping across the world. An unparalleled power emerged from his body. At the same time, the light of his samsara sword erupted. At this moment, Lin Xian didn't hold back at all. This was because he felt a crisis, a peerless crisis. The heavenly punishment sword in the sky was really too terrifying. Before it fell, it could already destroy everything. Retreat, retreat, quickly. At this moment, everyone retreated frantically. Even the Grim Reaper left with the people of the Supreme Palace. On the other side, Lin Zhan also retreated with the people of the Divine Union. At this moment, no one dared to stay. They fled to the desolate border of the universe. There was no other way. What kind of scene was this? Of the 5 swords of the world, except for the space-time sword, the other 4 had all appeared. Heavenly punishment, devour, great dragon, samsara. Moreover, It was a complete one against three incomplete ones. At this moment, the power that could destroy heaven and earth instantly swept out. Lin Xian felt as if he had been struck by lightning. Blood flowed out of his 7 orifices. It was too powerful. Was this the complete heavenly punishment sword? If the great dragon sword was complete, would it be so terrifying? Lord Alcohol was also sent flying, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. His face became incomparably pale. A few cracks even appeared on his body. Retreat. The battle god also spoke in a deep voice. They had no choice. Since the Grand Supreme had made his move, they had no choice but to retreat. Lord Alcohol gritted his teeth. Damn it. How is this possible? The Grand Elder could not attack at will. Was he crazy? The Golden Lion King also retreated. He also said, maybe it's for the land of destiny, or perhaps it was for the power of the gods. Even someone as strong as Taishang did not walk out of the Tao of Immortals. Instead, he chose the immortal Tao. Even so, he couldn't do anything. Lord Alcohol gritted his teeth. It wasn't time yet. If he made a move, he wouldn't be afraid of the consequences. As they spoke, they quickly retreated with Lin Xian. The cracks on Lin Xian's body quickly healed. The power of the gods emanating from his body became even more mysterious. As for the heavenly punishment sword in the sky, it seemed as if it simply did not give the heavenly punishment sword the opportunity to escape. It actually descended once again. Damn it, Lord Alcohol and Lin Xian once again conjured 3 sword shadows and charged forward. However, in the next instant, they were pushed back again. He was actually still alive. On the other side, the virtual immortal Master Rashi and the others were also gritting their teeth. The heavenly punishment sword had already appeared, but the other party was still alive. The 1,000 Mountain Emperors said, "There's nothing we can do. The other party has 3 of the 5 swords in the world." This was definitely something that defied the heavens to the extreme. Unfortunately, it was only a broken one. If it was complete, he wouldn't even dare to imagine it. So what if it was 3? It couldn't compare to a complete one. Master Rashi and the others clenched their fists. The heavenly punishment sword in the sky seemed to be about to descend again. Quite a few cracks had already appeared on Lin Xian's body. Lord Alcohol's aura had also become much weaker. There was nothing they could do. The pressure they were under was too great. As for the others, they didn't have time to make a move. This was because the experts on the other side were staring at them. Once they made a move, a huge battle would probably break out. At this critical moment, the black ring in Lin Xian's hand suddenly bloomed with light. Then, it surged into the great dragon sword soul. The great dragon sword soul's body trembled. Then, it roared towards the sky. An extremely terrifying dragon roar erupted. Boom. At this moment, it was as if the world had been overturned. A powerful force swept through the clouds. What happened? At this moment, everyone was stunned. They were able to sense that the unstoppable power had become exceptionally powerful. Did this kid still have it on him? The Essence Immortals were all stunned. Even Lin Xian was stunned. This black ring. He had been wearing this thing on his hand all this time. However, he still didn't know what use it had. This was discovered in the Slanted Moon Cave. Back then, in the Slanted Moon Cave, other than the fighting god, there was also a sleeping man. That man was sleeping on the Dragon Mountain. The ring had flown out from his hand. He didn't expect that this ring was actually related to the great dragon sword soul. At this moment, the power released by the great dragon sword soul was much stronger than before. It was as if it had completely recovered. At the same time, in the Slanted Moon Cave, in the extreme path world of the Hidden Emperor Star, suddenly, a startling light burst forth from the sleeping man's body. It was a sword energy. It pierced through the clouds, swept across the universe, and arrived between heaven and earth. Its appearance caused the heavenly punishment sword in the sky to stop. At this moment, even the earth immortals felt their hair stand on end. What kind of sword energy was this? Why did it give them such a terrifying threat? Who else was there in the divine realm? On the other side was also silent. In the supreme palace, the Grim Reaper's expression was even uglier. At the same time, a voice sounded between heaven and earth. Xian Yuan. This voice was cold and heartless. At the same time, there was a trace of anger. It sounded like a god from the 9 heavens, shaking everyone until they vomited blood. The Essence Immortals, Master Rashi, and the others were all stunned. This was the voice of the Grand Supreme. The Grand Supreme was angry. Shen Yuan, could it be him? The two of them seemed to have thought of something and sucked in a breath of cold air. The others were all guessing. Who is Shen Yuan? Even Lin Xian was stunned. Is it the sleeping man in white? Isn't it the Shiman Great Emperor? Did I guess wrong? Lin Xian was surprised. The black ring just now had caused such a change in the great dragon sword soul. At that moment, Lin Xian thought that the sleeping man was the first owner of the great dragon sword, the Shiman Great Emperor. But now it seemed that he wasn't. He looked at Lord Alcohol and the others and realized that they were also shocked. Only the war god frowned slightly. Was he going to make a move? It was a little forced for him to come out now. The sword energy that the man called Xian Yuan shot out circled around the great dragon sword soul. It made the great dragon sword soul even more terrifying. It was as if it had transformed into a peerless divine artifact between heaven and earth. It was terrifying to the extreme. At this moment, the magnificent voice sounded again. Shen Yuan, you are so severely injured that you can't even come out with your true body. You want to threaten me with just a sword energy? Ridiculous. The heavenly punishment sword descended once again. At this moment, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The universe was about to shatter. Everyone in the universe was terrified. If this sword slashed down, not many would be able to survive. Billions of living beings would be annihilated. In fact, those great emperors would disappear. Probably only a very small number of Earth immortals would survive. Chapter 6142. When he saw this scene, the war god frowned even more. Is Grand Supreme crazy? Sure enough, the power of the heavenly punishment sword erupted again. A primordial and mysterious aura suddenly appeared in some places in the heavens. That aura was abnormally terrifying, as if some ancient existence was awakening. In the celestial ground, this power erupted. In the 9 nether, this power also erupted. In the hidden Emperor Star, and even in the true spirit world and the Yuhua immortal dynasty, this terrifying aura was also condensing. Everyone was shocked again. There was still a peerless expert who hadn't appeared yet. The fighting god raised his head and looked into the distance. He frowned and said, "You haven't recovered from your injuries back then, right? Are you going to start a decisive battle in advance for a Tao verifier?" As soon as these words came out, the people on the other side frowned, especially the Essence Immortals. Their expressions were extremely ugly. Although they had defeated the divine realm before, they didn't feel good either. Master Rashi had been sleeping for tens of thousands of years before he woke up. Even Grand Supreme was injured. It even affected Grand Supreme's realm. Had the Grand Elder recovered yet? The others didn't know. However, according to the Essence Immortal's own guesses, he shouldn't have recovered yet. Otherwise, the heavens wouldn't have ignored it, and the 9 nether wouldn't have let it go. If Grand Supreme was willing to make a move, what could the divine realm do? However, Grand Supreme hadn't made a move yet. It was very likely that his injuries hadn't recovered yet. After all, the battle back then was too tragic. The great dragon sword was broken, the Samsara sword turned into pieces, and the devouring sword was also damaged. Only the heavenly punishment sword was intact. However, who knew the price Grand Supreme had paid. Little monkey, who gave you the courage to talk to me? A cold snort sounded between heaven and earth. Immediately after, boundless power swept towards the fighting god. The fighting god roared into the sky. After letting out a heaven-shaking roar, he waved the sea-calming divine needle and fiercely swung it forward. This strike was like the destruction of the universe. Everyone closed their eyes and retreated frantically. That terrifying nomological light made their eyes bleed. They didn't dare to look directly at it. After the strike, the fighting god retreated. The stone on his body actually cracked in some places. Father, Sun Qiqian saw this scene and was extremely nervous. Lin, Zhan, Lord Alcohol, and the others also had ugly expressions. They saw a few drops of golden blood falling from the cracks on the war god's petrified body. The golden blood fell into the void and suddenly evaporated, disappearing without a trace. To think that the Grand Supreme would be so terrifying, he frowned as well. He had never seen it before. In the battle with the Grand Supreme back then, he was killed by the Saber Immortal. Now it seemed that the Grand Supreme's strength should be above the fighting god, but how much stronger was he? He didn't know. The fighting god, however, snorted coldly. You really haven't recovered from your injuries. Your voice is much weaker than before. What happened to your imposing manner back then? At this point, the battle god laughed heartily. His eyes of fire and gold became even more terrifying, as if they were going to pierce through the heavens and earth. As if challenged, the heavenly punishment sword in the sky became even more terrifying. Everyone's expression changed. How strong is the Grand Elder? Lord Alcohol sighed as a look of reluctance appeared in his eyes. Then he took out a pearl. It was sparkling and translucent, in the shape of a teardrop. What was this? The next moment, he sighed and crushed the teardrop-shaped bead in his hand. Buzz. It seemed to break the chaos of the universe. The sky-devouring jar on Lin Xian's body instantly flew over, together with a teardrop-shaped bead. Then, a boundless black vortex appeared. It devoured the heavens and the earth. An even more terrifying force erupted, shocking everyone once again. The power of the devouring sword also increased. Impossible! Master Rashi roared. This wine sword immortal isn't that powerful. Although he was at a disadvantage in the previous battle with the wine sword immortal, it was impossible for the other party to kill him. But now, feeling this devouring aura, Master Rashi's hair stood on end. He felt that the other party could swallow him in one gulp. Is the situation so bad? You actually need me to take action. A cold voice sounded between heaven and earth. Then a figure appeared. Everyone looked over and was stunned. This figure was abnormally blurry, but they could vaguely see that it was a woman. This woman stood in the void, surrounded by countless vortexes. Her figure was ethereal and illusory, as if she was in a dream. Looking at this figure, his eyes turned red. He shouted hoarsely, "Senior sister, sky-devouring great emperor." The people from the Supreme Palace exclaimed. Then, countless people sucked in a breath of cold air. Others might not know the names of the virtual immortal and Master Rashi, but the name of the sky-devouring great emperor shook the universe. This was because when the other party rose to prominence, the sky-devouring great emperor killed countless experts in the universe. That era could be said to be an era of despair. The sky-devouring great emperor stepped on countless corpses to reach the peak, swept through the universe, and became a great emperor. She became a legend that lasted for millions of years. In the end, everyone seemed to have forgotten whether she was a man or a woman. When people talked about her, they could only say one thing: she's a ruthless person. Then they shook their heads, unwilling to say anything more. This was because these people were terrified when they mentioned the sky-devouring great emperor. They didn't expect that the sky-devouring great emperor, a peerless, ruthless person, would appear again. Lin Xian was also shocked. She's the sky-devouring great emperor, the creator of the sky-devouring jar. She was indeed ruthless to refine herself into an extreme weapon. After the sky-devouring great emperor appeared, she didn't say anything. She just unleashed the power of the devouring sword, even more terrifying. On the other side, Xian Yuan rushed out together with the great dragon sword. The two of them faced off against Tianfa. The golden light in the war god's eyes erupted. He was also eager to give it a try. Although he was injured previously, he wasn't afraid. It's not enough. The Grand Supreme's voice sounded again. Many people on the other side heaved a sigh of relief. That's great. As expected of their lord. He's really strong. One had to know that when this ruthless person appeared, they were all stunned. Why would this guy appear? Didn't he disappear for tens of thousands of years? Why would he appear here? Although it was just an illusion, it was enough to make them fearful. One could imagine how many people's nightmares were the sky-devouring great emperor. Is it not enough? A faint voice sounded between heaven and earth. Then, the Yi family's celestial emperor cauldron suddenly erupted with light. Everyone looked over. The people of the Yi family were stunned. Why is the celestial emperor cauldron erupting with light? The Gu family and the Phoenix clan were also shocked. The Yi family is so bold. They actually dared to resist at this time. However, the Yi family's patriarch was about to cry. How could they dare to fight? With their strength, they were not qualified to fight at all. This was not under their control. It was the celestial emperor cauldron that erupted on its own. Could it be? They thought of a possibility. Everyone quickly activated the power of their bloodline and rushed toward the celestial emperor cauldron. In the celestial emperor cauldron, a tall figure appeared. He stood tall like the 9 heavens' divine king. Chapter 61:43. As soon as the silhouette of the 9 heavens' god king appeared, everyone felt an endless pressure pressing down on them. Even those earth immortals felt as if they were facing a great enemy. Who was this person? It was a shocking scene. It was too shocking. They really didn't expect that Lin Xian's Tao confirmation would break out such a battle. Moreover, it also attracted countless peerless powerhouses. Some of them were legendary. Some of them they had never even seen before. However, that aura made them despair. This was a true era of legends. Others didn't know who this 9 heavens divine king was. However, the people of the Yi family were excited. In the next moment, they all knelt on the ground and shouted excitedly, "Patriarch!" What? Everyone was stunned. The Yi family's patriarch. Could it be Yi Qiandi? Even the phantom of Yi Qiandi appeared. Yi Qiandi's phantom was tens of thousands of feet tall. He held the celestial emperor cauldron in his hand, making countless people tremble in fear. The earth immortals seemed to recall something terrifying and took 2 steps back in fear. On the other side, although Saber Immortal didn't appear, the saber light above his head shook violently. It seemed to carry a monstrous hatred. This hatred was for Yi Qiandi. This shocked everyone. Had this earth immortal suffered a loss in the hands of Yi Qiandi? Dao Chun and the others couldn't believe it. One had to know that Saber Immortal was a person who cultivated an immortal art surpassing ordinary earth immortals. In the realm of the gods, the only one who could contend against him was the battle god. But now, Saber Immortal was so resentful of Yi Qiandi. He wondered what had happened back then. And the Yi family at this moment became the focus of everyone's attention. They once again erupted with glory. The Yi family was a great emperor family. But now, in this golden era, the Yi family seemed to have lost its glory. There was no other way. Now that the great emperors of tens of thousands of eras had gathered together, it could be said that there were many great emperors. There were even several earth immortals. So far, the Yi family had not produced a great emperor. They seemed to have lost the power and opportunity to compete. However, now that Yi Qiandi's phantom appeared, everyone knew that the Yi family's foundation was extremely terrifying. The Celestial Emperor Cauldron, which had originally been an extreme weapon, seemed to have become an exceptional divine weapon in the hands of the Nine-Sky Divine Monarch. The attack had shattered the saber glow formed by the Saber Immortal. You actually appeared as well. You really didn't die. The Grand Supreme's voice became extremely angry. Since you're still alive, I'll send you to hell. I want to make sure that not a single bit of your aura is left in this world. The heavenly punishment sword had completely erupted. The fighting god roared, "Kill!" He held the sea-steadying divine needle in one hand and charged toward 9 firmaments. At the same time, together with the great dragon sword, Xian Yuan flew into the distance. Together with the devouring sword, the heaven-devouring great emperor charged out. The Yi family's celestial emperor Yi soared into the sky with the celestial emperor in his hand. A few peerless figures had joined forces. The other Earth Immortals did not fight because they could not withstand this power. Earth Immortals were also divided into strong and weak. The ones in front were definitely extremely strong. At this moment, they could only watch the battle. After watching for a while, they were shocked. The Grand Supreme is too strong. On the deity realm's side, a few peerless Earth Immortals, including the legendary Celestial Emperor and the sky-devouring beast, had appeared. However, it turned out that they were only evenly matched. Moreover, according to the people on the deity realm's side, the Grand Supreme was injured and had not even shown his true body. How terrifying would the Grand Supreme be at his peak? The people on the Divine Union's side also gasped. Could the great dragon sword have been shattered by the Grand Supreme? Could the Samsara sword have been shattered by the Grand Supreme as well? What kind of divine being is this? Lin Xian's expression was extremely solemn. Is this the ruler of the Nirvana realm? He was indeed strong, unimaginably strong. However, so what? Now that his immortal power had been condensed, he believed that he could defeat the other party in the future. A martial artist had to have this kind of confidence. Lin Xian's eyes shone with an extremely determined light. He was prepared to continue fusing and breaking through to complete the Tao validation. Now that they had used all their trump cards, he absolutely could not allow failure. However, he still had to add fuel to the fire. At the thought of this, he took a deep breath and took out the longevity lamp and the Emperor Bone from the sword world. Then, with a push of his hand, he pushed these things into the distance of the universe and into the quintessential world. This was because he sensed that there was also an extremely ancient aura erupting from the Yuhua immortal dynasty. The longevity lamp and a few bones flew to the Yuhua immortal dynasty. The next moment, the mountains shook and a ray of light flew out. It was a huge seal that was being held by a white bone hand. It flew into the sky and joined the battle. There was a loud boom. The huge seal erupted and covered the sky. Everyone was once again forced to retreat. The Earth Immortals were also shocked. The Grim Reaper exclaimed, "Even the Yuhua immortal dynasty has joined in. You're courting death." The Grand Supreme's voice became even more furious. The next moment, he shouted coldly, "No matter who comes, it's useless. Today, I'll fulfill your wishes." The battle in the sky became even more terrifying. Lin Xian, on the other hand, didn't do anything. This was all he could do. Next, he had to break through with all his might, holding the heaven-earth mystic yellow pagoda and the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda. With both hands, Lin Xian roared angrily. The seed had completely fused into his glabella. The power of the immortals had become even more powerful in his body. Kill this kid. Don't let him fuse with the seed. The essence immortal in the distance roared angrily and once again rushed towards Lin Xian with his men. Although they could not join the battle in the sky, they would kill Lin Xian. On the other side, the Grim Reaper also rushed over with his men. Kill. The Golden Lion King, Lord Alcohol, and the others all attacked. The battle erupted again. This battle was extremely terrifying and tragic. The sky was dyed red by endless blood. Half of the universe seemed to have turned into a sea of blood. A drop of blood from a powerhouse pierced through millions of worlds. In the sky, there were even drops of golden blood. However, it quickly disappeared. Dao Chen also held the sky sword and quickly rushed over. He slashed at Lin Xian. It was this kid in front of him who had caused him to fail. How could he let his opponent succeed? Lin Xian did not resist at all. This was because he had reached the final critical moment. Kid, fight me head on if you have the guts. Didn't you claim to be invincible? Aren't you high and mighty? What? You don't even have the courage to fight me. Dao Chen chased after Lin Xian as he spoke crazily. He wanted to affect Lin Xian's Dao heart. However, Lin Xian did not care at all. Xue Qi and the others rushed over, but they were sent flying by the saber and vomited blood. They were no match for him. These are your women, right? I'll kill your women first. Let's see how you're going to prove your Dao. Dao Chen revealed a sinister smile. Hearing this, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes. There was an extremely cold light in his eyes. In the next moment, the power of the immortals in his body was completely fused. Chapter 6144. Lin Xian's aura change. It wasn't divine fire or immortal energy. It was immortal energy. It was completely different from the others. That aura was simply too mysterious. It caused everyone to turn their heads to look at it one after another. Xue Qi, Murong Qingcheng, and the others exclaimed, "Great, he succeeded." Dao Chen roared crazily, "Impossible! This is impossible! Damn it, why?" No one had ever walked the path of immortals. There were countless experts in the Nirvana realm, but no one had ever succeeded. In fact, even the Grand Supreme only cultivated immortal energy. There were some crazy people in the universe who wanted to try. However, without exception, all of them failed. Life and death were gone, and there was no possibility of rebirth. Everyone believed that they could only choose one of the two paths. However, at that moment, there were people who had walked two different paths. The other party had actually succeeded in walking the path of immortals. How could Dao Chen believe it? At this moment, everyone in the heavens and myriad worlds was dumbfounded. They saw a mysterious and unfamiliar aura on Lin Xian's body. This aura was abnormally strong, and it instantly surpassed those ordinary great emperors. Had he succeeded? This was impossible, right? They had witnessed a miracle. Heavens, this guy was a monster. He could even succeed. Ha ha ha! This was great. The Black Mountain, the Crimson Dragon, and the others roared with laughter. He had finally succeeded. Above the 9 heavens, the battle god, and the others were also laughing. Grand Supreme, did you see that? He had walked the path of immortals. Kill him, regardless of the cost. The Grand Supreme ordered. At this moment, the virtual immortal and the others trembled. Regardless of the cost, kill. They roared. In an instant, several great emperors on the divine union's side were pierced, torn apart, and severely injured. They retreated quickly. However, they soon attacked again to protect Lin Xian. Lin Xian was the seed of their hope. Now that he had succeeded, they couldn't allow him to die. Although the deity realm was powerful and had several peerless weapons, so what? The Grand Supreme was too terrifying. Even if they joined forces now, they could only fight to a draw. If the Grand Supreme were to recover from his injuries one day, they would not be his match. Therefore, only Lin Xian's immortal path could create a miracle. Go to hell. Dao Chen also returned to his senses and slashed out with his blade. He did not hold back at all. His blood began to burn crazily. He had to kill the other party while he had just broken through. Boom. Lin Xian stared at Dao Chen and threw a punch. The punch turned into a streak of light and instantly pierced through Dao Chen's head. It was too fast, so fast that Dao Chen did not even have time to react. With a loud boom, the headless body was sent flying backward. Dao Chen could feel that he was about to die. What kind of power was this? He couldn't resist at all. One had to know that he could easily kill a great emperor. His strength was no weaker than a great emperor's. However, a single punch from his opponent was enough to seriously injure him. Want to run? Lin Xian snorted coldly. He took a step forward and slammed his hand down. With a loud boom, Dao Chen was shattered into pieces. His heart and soul were both destroyed. A prodigy of a generation died under a single slap just like that. The surrounding people were all stunned. Some of them even stopped in their tracks. There was a trace of fear in their eyes. Was this the power of an immortal? He killed a peerless prodigy with a single slap. One had to know that Dao Chen was no weaker than a great emperor. Didn't that mean that Lin Xian could kill a great emperor with a single slap? How terrifying was this power? Was this the immortal path? He had just proven his Tao. One had to know that the great emperors that appeared were not from this era. There were great emperors from tens of thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago, and even millions of years ago. No matter how powerful their cultivation foundations were, they could not compare to someone who had just proven his Tao. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it even if they were beaten to death. Kill him. Hurry up and kill him. The virtual immortal roared, crazily. His entire face was ferocious. Master Rashi was the same. He rushed over without a care for his life. On the other side, Grim Reaper also left. They could no longer remain silent. The appearance of an immortal was too great a threat to everyone. They attacked. Lord Alcohol, Lin Zhan, and the others naturally would not sit still and wait for death. They all attacked. At the same time, Saber Immortal, who was cultivating in seclusion on the other side, could not hold back anymore. In a certain treasure land, Saber Immortal opened his eyes. Had his son died? Unforgivable. In the next moment, he stood up. However, he did not go out. His cultivation had reached a critical juncture. He could not leave. However, he would not stand by and do nothing about Dao Chen's death. In the next moment, he roared angrily and cut off a head of black hair. His hair was also a part of his body. It also carried an incomparably sharp power. At this moment, the black hair transformed into a black saber. With his boundless killing intent, it pierced through the clouds and charged towards the battlefield. He swore that he would not stop until he killed Lin Xian. On Lin Xian's side, the more he fought, the braver he became. He clenched his fists, and an extremely sharp light burst out from his eyes. This was the power of an immortal. It was too powerful. With a boom, he punched towards Nether Sovereign. Nether Sovereign roared crazily and quickly retreated. How would he dare to fight alone? However, he was too slow. Lin Xian's speed surpassed his. In an instant, he was penetrated. Nether Sovereign was smashed into pieces. Ah, he let out a miserable cry. Help me stop him. However, at this moment, no one dared to face Lin Xian alone. Lin Xian punched again. This punch completely exploded. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. The entire universe seemed to be about to collapse. The second punch landed. Nether Sovereign's body and soul were destroyed. Another one had died. Another great emperor had fallen. Everyone went crazy. This guy's combat strength was too heaven-defying. He was equivalent to a super great emperor, right? This guy had just proven his Tao, but he already had the combat strength of a super great emperor. This made the other great emperors stunned. Some of them had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years, but they might not be able to become a super great emperor. Was the gap between people so big? Lin Xian was overjoyed. He tried to attack with all his strength. After saying that, he pulled out the immortal slaying sword, turned around, and slashed. The long sword soared into the sky. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. The surrounding people retreated one after another. Great Emperor Baiyu didn't have time to run. She was split in half by the sword, and her soul was instantly destroyed. The two halves of her body fell to the ground. One-hit kill. Everyone went crazy. The faces of the people on the other side became incomparably ugly. The people on the other side of the god realm were also incomparably shocked. This was the power after fusing with the power of an immortal. He killed a great emperor with one sword. This was definitely a super great emperor. However, at this moment, a pitch-black long blade flew over from afar. On the long blade, there was endless killing intent. It pierced through several great emperor-level figures along the way. Even the Golden Lion King was sent flying by this saber strike, vomiting a large mouthful of blood. The target of this blade was Lin Xian. Chapter 6145. It was a slash from the saber immortal. Dodge it! The Golden Lion King crazily roared at Lin Xian. The other people also became nervous. The saber immortal finally attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian had killed Dao Chun in a domineering manner. How could the saber immortal let it go so easily? Damn it! Lord Alcohol also roared. He wanted to attack, but it was too late. Kid, run. He could only remind him. Now, Lin Xian's dragon sword soul rushed to the 9 heavens and fought with the Grand Supreme. Even his devouring sword was not with him. Lin Xian could only rely on himself. Lin Xian felt his hair stand on end. It was as if this slash could kill him. In the next moment, he roared. He did not dare to be careless. Holding the immortal slaying sword with both hands, he crazily channeled the power of the immortals and slashed fiercely. At the same time, he opened the 6 paths of reincarnation and struck out the reincarnation sword fragment to protect his soul. Clang! An earth-shattering sound rang out. The black saber hit the immortal slaying sword and exploded with endless light. Then the immortal slaying sword shook and cracks appeared on Lin Xian's hands. In the next moment, he flew out as if he was struck by lightning. He vomited blood, and the reincarnation sword fragment kept shaking. Block it for me! He roared at the sky, and his Rinnegan erupted. At the same time, the power of the immortals also swept over his body. It seemed to condense into an immortal armor. The power of the ancient land also burst forth to heal his injuries. Boom! With a boom, he was hit on a star in the distance. It directly pierced through the star. The star world was torn apart. Dust flew and engulfed Lin Xian. What happened? Everyone was stunned as they turned their heads to look over. The people of the Supreme Palace said, "He was hit by the saber immortal head-on. He will definitely die." Ha ha! Great, this kid is dead. So what if you have attained the Tao? You will die in an instant. No one can compete with us. Not good. The eyes of the people from God's domain turned red. They rushed over as if they had gone mad. However, he was blocked by the people from the deity realm. None of you will be able to pass. A cold voice sounded. These people once again engaged in a fierce battle. Boom! In the distant astral world, Lin Xian was constantly coughing up blood in the ruins. His face was pale. That was close. In that instant, he had almost died. There was nothing he could do about it. This was an attack from the Saber Immortal. The Saber Immortal was a terrestrial immortal. Even among the terrestrial immortals, he was an extremely terrifying existence. Not to mention emperors, even super emperors would be dead for sure. Even the other earth deities would be injured. It was no surprise that Lin Xian was injured. After all, the gap between the two of them was too big. However, What was surprising was that he didn't die. At this moment, he had shattered the earth with a single punch. As he walked out, boundless vitality burst forth from his body once again. He swallowed the divine spring of life as if it were plain water. In the next moment, he soared into the sky and charged back into the battlefield. Lin Xian, he had returned. At the front of the battlefield, everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. He didn't die. All the worlds were shocked. This was impossible. The people from the Supreme Palace were also stunned. The people from the other side roared, "This is an illusion. This is that kid's soul. Go to hell." How could they accept it? That was an attack from the Saber Immortal. Even a super emperor wouldn't be able to withstand it. However, this kid actually withstood it and didn't die. Since when could a great emperor who had just attained the Tao be able to contend against a terrestrial immortal? That was great. Lin Zhan, Lord Alcohol, and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Just now, they were really scared to death. But fortunately, it was a close call. The Lion King exclaimed, "Is this the power of an immortal? He has just attained the Tao and can already withstand the attack of a terrestrial immortal? Impossible, right?" This was too heaven-defying. The people from the Supreme Palace were also going crazy. How many realms were there between the two sides? At least 2 strands of immortal chi. Do you think immortal chi is cabbage? They might not be able to cultivate 1 strand of immortal chi even if they cultivated for 100,000 years. This was definitely the difference between heaven and earth. The power of an immortal. It must be the power of an immortal. Damn it. A person who walked the path of an immortal was actually so terrifying. He wouldn't immediately become a god, right? Saber Immortal, I'll remember you. One day, I'll kill you. And the other side will definitely trample you under our feet. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with an extremely cold light. Boom. At this moment, the Grand Supreme, who was fighting in the distance, seemed to have sensed it. Immediately, he waved the heavenly punishment sword and slashed a sword light from afar. Between heaven and earth, red lightning filled the air. This was a true talent. All the power was aimed at Lin Xian. Lin Xian had successfully attained the Tao and become a great emperor. But at this moment, he was still enveloped by endless lightning. This kind of heaven and earth phenomenon was extremely terrifying. Everyone dispersed. No one dared to approach Lin Xian again. Get lost. Lin Xian roared towards the sky and waved the immortal slaying sword. The power of an immortal erupted completely and swept across the surroundings to resist the terrifying heavenly punishment. At the same time, he attacked again. He had only killed 3 elites previously, and it wasn't enough. Buzz, a huge hand reached out and grabbed one of the Grand Emperors from the Permitha heavenly shore and brought him over. The Great Emperor trembled. After entering, he was immediately pierced by lightning. Then, a sword split his body apart, and the power of an immortal destroyed his soul. Another great emperor had died. This guy could instantly kill a great emperor. The other party's divine power was already extremely terrifying, coupled with the heavenly punishment. Who could be a match for him? Lin Xian resisted the heavenly punishment and quickly rushed over to the Supreme Hall. 2 great emperors fell. Then he killed his way to the other side. A few more great emperors fell. In a short time, 10 great emperors died at the hands of Lin Xian. This was a glorious battle record. Everyone's eyes were filled with infinite fear. That's great. On the other hand, the people of the Divine Union were in high spirits. Lin Xian was overjoyed. At this rate, when he became a supreme great emperor, he wouldn't have to fear an earth immortal. He could fight with a real earth immortal. He had to continue to improve his strength. Buzz. Lin Xian was about to attack when suddenly his body shook and his glabella split open. A sense of crisis erupted. He stopped and coughed up a mouthful of blood. What was going on? The surrounding people were all stunned. Was someone ambushing him? Who was it? Morong Ching-chung, and the others looked around nervously. Even the Empress was quickly noticed by them. To be able to injure Lin Xian, it had to be at least a supreme grade emperor, right? However, after looking around, they didn't find anyone. Lin Xian's face turned extremely pale. He frowned and said, "What's going on? Is the power of an immortal unstable?" Just now, no one had ambushed him. It was the power of an immortal in his body that suddenly moved and caused his body to split open. This stunned him. The power of an immortal was terrifying, but now it seemed like it wasn't completely stable. What was going on? He looked around. However, the people of the Divine Union also frowned. Unstable? Lord Alcohol, Lin Zhan, and the others said as they fought, "No one has walked this path before, so we don't know." "Kid, do you know? In our opinion, you don't even have a 30% chance of winning. We even thought that we would let you walk the path of the divine path, but we didn't expect you to succeed. Since ancient times, in billions of years, I'm afraid you are the first one. It's really unprecedented. However, the problem you encountered in your cultivation, no one can solve it for you." Chapter 6146. After Lin Xian heard this, he frowned. It seemed that he was in trouble. The power of the immortals was unstable. Why? Was it not fused well? Or was it because of other reasons? However, in the eyes of others, being able to fuse was already a heaven-defying thing. One had to know that even the Grand Supreme had not succeeded, but Lin Xian had. No, he had to solve it. Lin Xian furrowed his brows tightly. The power of the immortals shook just now, causing him to be injured. It would be best if he didn't die after a few more hits. He had to solve this problem. But what should he do? Now that the battle was so intense, could he make a move now? He didn't know. Lord Alcohol said, "There is a way. The land of destiny." While blocking Master Rashi's attack, he quickly sent a voice transmission to Lin Xian. "Go to the land of destiny. You are the first to attain the Tao. You are qualified to go to the land of destiny. There, you can defy the heavens and change your fate. Perhaps after changing your fate, your problem with the power of the immortals will be resolved." There was such a thing? Lin Xian dodged the Higgins attack and quickly retreated. At this moment, he focused on defense. In his mind, he kept thinking the land of destiny, one of the Joqian Shitty. However, it was said to be extremely mysterious. People from the outside couldn't enter at all. It was much more difficult than entering the netherworld. As long as one could open the 9 underworlds, it would be fine. However, the conditions to enter the land of destiny were extremely harsh. It wasn't a matter of opening, but after the deity ground descended, only the first to attain the Tao could enter. This was also the reason why the Higgin was so crazy before. Now, in the entire universe, perhaps only Lin Xian was qualified to enter. As for the land of destiny, could it be open like the netherworld? Lin Xian didn't know at all. "Kid, hurry up and go to the land of destiny now. Firstly, it will solve your problem. Secondly, there is one more thing." "What is it?" Lin Xian asked. Lord Alcohol said, "Find someone, find someone. You must find him. This is very important to our divine realm. Only when we find that person will our God realm's subsequent forces appear. Only then would he be able to truly contend with." And Lin Xian felt immense pressure. Could he really compete with Higgin? Don't look at how they are evenly matched right now. However, the current Grand Supreme had not even revealed his true body. He was fighting them across the boundless void. As for the Saber Immortal, he did not appear either. It could be imagined that there were still many experts in, and who couldn't come out. What was the reason? However, if those people were to really come out, they would likely not be able to stop them. He had to solve this problem. Lin Xian took a deep breath and said, "Alcohol Lord, Who are you looking for? To be honest, I don't know the details, but his name used to be E. What's his name now? No one knew. What does he look like? No one knew. However, he should be in the land of destiny. Lin Xian was dumbfounded. How were they going to find him? Lord Alcohol didn't say anything else. Instead, he quickly sent a voice transmission to the distant battle god. After the battle god heard this, he waved his sleeve and a ray of light quickly flew over. When it arrived in front of Lin Xian discovered that it was actually a bottle. Inside the bottle was golden sand, a bottle of sand. What was this? Lord Alcohol said, "This is Yi's token. The rest is up to you. After all, none of us have been to the land of destiny." I understand. Lin Xian took the bottle of golden sand and put it away. He took a deep breath. According to Lord Alcohol, he should be able to summon the land of destiny. In the next moment, he closed his eyes. Everyone, please help me stop him. In a while, I will summon the land of destiny. After saying that, Lin Xian began to sense with all his might. Not good. Master Rashi, the Essence Immortal, and the others who were fighting in the distance exclaimed, "Grand Supreme, please help. He might be going to the land of destiny." The Grand Supreme, who was fighting, shouted coldly, "Don't even think about going anywhere." After saying that, he slashed down with his sword and forced all the Earth Immortals who were fighting with him to retreat. Then, the sword, which was imbued with boundless power, went straight for Lin Xian. I sensed it. Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes and said to the people around him, "Retreat quickly, Buzz." Just as he finished speaking, a spatial power suddenly appeared on Murong Qingcheng, Xueqi, and the others, taking them away quickly. The people of the Gu family in the distance turned pale. Some of the elders even spat out blood. Gu Santong was the same. His body was swaying. It was too close. He almost failed. Previously, it was these people of the Gu family who used spatial magic to take away Murong Qingcheng, Xueqi, and the others. However, they did not teleport Lin Xian because a mysterious power appeared on Lin Xian's body. It was also a spatial power. It seemed that the other party was about to leave. Slash. In the sky, the heavenly punishment sword slashed down. The starry sky was completely shattered. Except for Lin Xian, there was no one else. Could it succeed? Lin Zhan became nervous. The fighting god, Lord Alcohol, and the others also looked very serious. In the next moment, the endless power of the heavenly punishment erupted. Lin Xian's figure was completely enveloped. At that moment, Lin Xian let out a low cry. His body was instantly teleported away by a surge of spatial power. Boom, boom. His figure disappeared. The power of the heavenly punishment had completely pierced through the starry sky, forming a pitch-black hole. Lin Wuti was dead? No one knew. However, in their opinion, even an Earth Immortal would not be able to survive after being hit by the heavenly punishment sword. Lin Wuti had just attained Tao. How could he still be alive? Even Lin Zhan, Lord Alcohol, and the others were not sure. However, at this moment, the fighting god said, "I saw him leave with my fiery eyes of truth. That's great." Lin Zhan and the others heaved a sigh of relief. However, the fighting god said, "No, it's not over yet. We can't let others discover this. We have to continue fighting, and we have to fight even more crazily." Understood. Lin Zhan and the others nodded. Everyone, fight with me. Then, these people from the divine realm charged over again. A great battle broke out. All the people in the universe were terrified. Could it be that Lin Wuti had really died? This battle was earth-shattering. It lasted for several years, and both sides suffered losses. Of course, Lin Xian no longer knew all of this. Lin Xian was teleported away at the most critical moment. However, he was still swept by some of the power of the heavenly punishment. He spat out large mouthfuls of blood, and many cracks appeared on his body. Fortunately, he had the ancient land. The power of the heavenly spring of life inside surged out and began to heal his injuries. Just like that, he seemed to be drifting in the darkness. After an unknown period of time, he finally saw light. After leaving the spatial passageway, was that the place of destiny? He didn't know what kind of place it was. Among the 9 heavens and 10 earths, he had already seen the heavenly land and the 9th underworld. They both had incomparably mysterious powers. Moreover, there were many families, sects, and great emperors in the 9th underworld. After all, there was no restriction on attaining Tao in the 9th underworld once every 10,000 years. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian's figure flickered, and he rushed out. This time, he had to defy the heavens and change his fate. He had to completely obtain the power of an immortal. Chapter 61:47. Lin Xian rushed out of the passage. However, when he arrived, he still couldn't see clearly what was going on in the land of destiny. He felt the power of the immortals in his body throbbing fiercely. This caused him to be injured again. What was going on? Lin Xian was stunned. Logically speaking, he should have suppressed his injuries before. However, why did he feel that the power of the immortals seemed to be even stranger after coming to the land of destiny? In that instant, Lin Xian realized that he couldn't mobilize his power. He could only say that the land of destiny was too strange. Then he turned into a shooting star and fell down. Although Lin Xian couldn't use the power of the immortals for the time being, he still had the power of the immortals. Therefore, he landed on the ground like a bright ray of light. On this day, the warriors in the endless cities and countries below all looked up at the sky. Look, what's that? What a beautiful shooting star. Make a wish. What shooting star? A powerhouse roared. Don't you feel a mysterious power from above? We've never seen this mysterious power before. Go, there's a treasure falling from the sky. All of a sudden, all the powerhouses in this space moved out. Soon they came to a valley, but no one dared to go in, because at this moment, the valley was torn apart and the ground was split open, forming an endless abyss. The sky was also broken, and the mysterious power inside was circling around. It made everyone's hair stand on end. After some elders came, they carefully investigated. Then they said, "Don't act rashly. This kind of treasure falling from the sky must be dangerous. Wait until all the powerhouses are here." More and more powerhouses gathered outside. In the valley, under the ground, Lin Xian muttered, "Damn it, this place is too strange. What kind of place was the land of destiny? Why did he feel that his injuries had worsened after coming here? Of course, the worsening of his injuries wasn't fatal. However, Lin Xian couldn't move now. Moreover, he felt that there was a huge spirit vein below. However, as he landed, it was directly smashed into pieces. At this moment, the power of the spiritual veins was converging towards him. Gradually, it enveloped him and formed a huge statue of the spirit vein. Forget it, I'll try to recover my strength first. Lin Xian closed his eyes and began to recover silently. Meanwhile, more and more people came from outside. A tall expert stomped his foot, causing the heavens to crumble and the earth to crack. A bladesman with a long saber on his back sent out a saber strike that destroyed the sky. There was also a swordsman with a long sword on his back. In short, all kinds of experts had come. There were even some demonic beasts that were extremely terrifying. There were so many experts. When the young people in the distance saw this scene, they exclaimed in shock. Some of the elders sighed. It's over. With so many experts here, we have no chance at all. Forget it. Those who aren't from the top clans and sects shouldn't participate. That's right. If you're not a top-notch expert, scram. It was a tall expert. With a stomp of his foot, a terrifying force spread in all directions. Obviously, the peerless experts in front were going to join forces to seal off the entire valley. What kind of treasure is it? A man with a long sword on his back walked over. His name was Jian Jingyun. His figure was very slender. Dressed in white, he was extraordinarily handsome. Among everyone, he was very eye-catching. Therefore, as soon as he appeared, countless people turned their heads to look at him. What a terrifying sword chi! His sword technique is about to reach the phenomenal level. It's said that he's about to become a sword emperor. What? He's about to prove his Tao. So fast. I remember that he's very young. Countless voices of discussion could be heard. Jian Jingyun looked around and said, "Almost everyone is here. Let's do it." After saying that, he pulled out his long sword and slashed forward. This was a peerless sword strike. With supreme power, it split heaven and earth. However, the mysterious aura in front was too powerful. Jingyun was actually forced back. His face was pale as he roared, "Why aren't you doing it?" Seeing this, the others said, "Do it." Those who came here were all quasi-emperors. They only had one goal, and that was to prove their Tao. The land of destiny was different from the starry sky of the universe. It was somewhat similar to the land of the ninth underworld. There was no suppression of the great Tao. As long as one had the strength, he could break through and prove his Tao. Of course, even so, it was as difficult as ascending to heaven to prove one's Tao. At this moment, these people had been called quasi-emperors for thousands of years, but they had no hope of proving their Tao. Now that a treasure had fallen from the sky, how could they miss it? These people quickly attacked, shaking the sky and the earth in front of them. The others retreated one after another. At the same time, more people came from afar. These people should have come from an even further space. Among them, a war chariot stopped. There were many figures standing inside. These people were all dressed in black, and the one leading them was a man with long, flowing hair. He was quite handsome. At this moment, he was holding a leaf in his mouth. He narrowed his eyes and said, "Good stuff. This time, I must get it." However, the elders around him said, "Don't do anything rash. Don't you see that there are so many experts in front? This time, without my order, you are not to act rashly." "Old man, don't worry. It's just a group of quasi-emperors. I don't care about them." Hearing this, the surrounding people were also surprised. They all turned their heads to look. Was some unparalleled expert here? Could it be a great emperor? However, when they saw that the youth was only a quasi-emperor, they frowned. This guy was just an ordinary quasi-emperor. What was there to be arrogant about? That's right, this youth was six-crown king. However, he was not strong enough here. This was because eight-crown king was extremely terrifying among quasi-emperors. Even so, these experts working together could not enter. Boom. In the distance, a great emperor came. After this great emperor came, he showed off his peerless brilliance. He threw out a palm in the air and fell. Retreat quickly. Those people all retreated frantically. Although they were top prodigies and unparalleled experts, they were all ants below the great emperor. They did not dare to fight against the great emperor. In the sky, a large golden palm fell. It was blocked in midair. This shocked countless people. What kind of treasure was in the valley? It could even block the power of a great emperor. The golden palm great emperor frowned tightly. His palm was even more terrifying than an extreme weapon. This was because he had refined his palm into a weapon. However, it was still useless. What was that treasure? An extremely sharp light burst forth from his eyes as he looked down. He wanted to see clearly what was going on. When he touched the power of an immortal, he suddenly screamed and his eyes bled. The golden palm great emperor kept retreating. The surrounding people were all stunned. Even a great emperor was injured. Could it be that there was something more terrifying than a great emperor inside? Could it be a divine item? Some people said in horror. When the others heard this, they gasped. A divine item! A divine item fell from the sky. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.